Tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here to do. I'm here to join me as always, Xavier Guerrero, and on the ones and two, Jay Nice, Juicy Johnny Woodard. Where have I heard that before? Guys, we're gonna get into it because we got one of our favorite guests in studio. We're not going to tell you where he lives, but we're going to tell you. But we love him to death. Real quick, I want to say a couple things. I want to thank all of you who donated to the Chaos Twins Indiegogo campaign. We hit our first level. Our first goal real quick, and we're already very close. We're $750 basically away from our second goal, so hopefully we'll get that in the next day or so. Onwards and upwards. We get enough, we'll make a whole series, and hopefully people will like it. So we just go to chaostwins.com and you can join the Chaos Army. It means a lot to me. It's my first time doing kids, family-friendly entertainment. So please join me. And then finally, I'm going to be this Friday night. I'm going to be at the stand-up club in Bellflower. Very excited that we got a great lineup for you. It's myself and a couple of my buddies. It's the second anniversary of the club, so I'm honored that they would ask me to do it. And then we got a killer lineup on the 14th in the Comedy Store main room for Comedy Chaos, and then Austin and Dallas are both next week. So it is basically 9 days of chaos. Come get weird. Go to SamTripoli.com, all your dates, and that is it. Join us in studio, one of my favorite people. I'm so excited he's here. He's got a new movie out called Old World Order. Please welcome one of the Tinfoil Hat's favorites, Sean Hibbeler. How are you, Sean?
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, Swarm? My favorite audience.
Thank
guys,
you, buddy.
Thanks for having me back. Appreciate
Anytime, all the time. I'm very thankful that you come on every time you make a movie, and your movies are insanely good.
Thank you.
So why don't we get into it? Tell us a little bit about your new movie that came out.
No, not out yet. Just starting the production of it now. I've been traveling the last maybe month and a half. So we hit San Francisco, we hit Chicago, and I'm heading after this show. I'm going to LAX for Arizona to go film Michelle Gibson. So that'll be a good week for here. But I still got like at least, I want to say 10 different trips I need to do. So anyone listening, Swarm, OWOfilm.com, you can donate there.
OWO.com.
Get me to my next destination, please, because I need to get the footage, right? I mean, I need all the footage, and then I can go ahead and produce the film. So I got a lot of boots on the ground in this one. We want drones up there. We want to go see these old world buildings. We want to see beneath them. We want to see on top of them. We want to figure this out because obviously they lied.
I know. And it's crazy. Johnny isn't necessarily a Tataria guy. I'm a Tataria guy.
No, I'm not a big fan of the World's Fair thing.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk about that. That's why I'm glad I'm on the show, because I really want to hear your thoughts on that, Johnny. The people I associate myself with on a day-to-day basis, I don't hear no devil's advocacy because it's all the truth is all there.
No, I'm with you.
So I need to hear this World's Fair. I really want to be challenged here.
I think it's great. I'm really getting into, I'm reading the Bible now. I'm getting into that. But even with that, and I don't want to piss people off because I am reading it, I know because I've had conversations with people that they've broken down where they've been editing the Bible as well. Mm-hmm. And
I agree.
What about Mandela effect or actually like
just like deleting text out of it.
And my favorite one, Sam, is the one. This is not verbatim, but it's not there anymore. Is the point? It's the kind of the opposite effect of the new style of turn your cheek. Right? Evil's coming in. Just turn your cheek. God will help. It's like, listen, the Old Testaments I've seen, the old scriptures I've seen. It's again not verbatim, but something like if evil's coming in, get him the fuck out in God's name. Right? Just destroy all the evil. Blow them all up if you want to. And they take that out because I think in reality, they're constructing a society, no matter what religion you are, they're still constructing a society of turn your cheek. Turn your cheek to evil. Turn your cheek to the bad. When this is the time to do the opposite, in my opinion.
I find it very interesting. And, so I think all of history is a lie. I 100% believe that. I know that... Was she? No, she was just on Greg Carlwood's show, the woman you're about to go interview.
Michelle Gibson.
Yeah, she's been on our show before.
She was just on Eddie's, too. It was a good show.
Yeah, I mean, she's great. And she was talking about the Moors and the whole story of the Moors. And
fascinating. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable how calculated the lie is. So when you sit down and you go, hey, is everything a conspiracy? It's like, yeah, everything literally is a conspiracy. It's all, I mean, from the food you eat to the air you breathe, to the music you listen to the shows you watch, to your words, to your understanding of God, and to your language. All that stuff has been manipulated. Anywhere there's a power structure, there is manipulation, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, nothing new under the sun. I mean, they've been lying to us since day one. I kind of, again, as a filmmaker, generally speaking, my first three films, I mean, Fluva 19 was a little different, but my first three films were Flat Earth related, right? So that's been my field, right? Where I could just smash documentary after documentary. But this is new. Like during my Flat Earth research and documentaries and everything, people are Tartaria, the old world. And I'm like, oh, that seems awesome. I don't have time. I just didn't have time to really dive down. It's one of those things where I'm like, they lied about history. Is that what we're talking about here? Oh yeah, I can agree with that. Of course. And I move on because they lie about cosmology. So I'm not going to be shocked. But once I started to look, oh my God, I got chills right now. It is the most, that's why I want to hear Johnny's take on some of this stuff. It is the most obvious bullshit story they've ever given us is our past and when these buildings were built and who built them and how long they took to build. You could look at any building modern day, just glass and metal, basically, right? But some of these buildings, they're not even that big. You look on Wikipedia or wherever, Google or their website, and it'll tell you, oh, this modern building took 12 years to build. In this day and age, with power tools, with automatic cranes, with probably a bunch of technology I don't even know about, 10, 12 years. But these giant old world buildings that the inside itself today would take 10 years just to design the inside by hand, right? It's all handmade looking stuff. But it says 1 year, 2 years, with guys with donkeys, guys with horses. We're just supposed to believe that. And I think the reason why it's not a monumental discussion is because nobody knows this stuff. Literally, they have started the indoctrination camps. They brought these children in, I call them Cabbage Patch babies, whether you want to call them incubator babies, orphan trains. They populated this country, and which is what I'm noticing in my research. Every city is everyone listening, type in your city name or your major city with the word fire afterwards or Great Fire afterwards. And I didn't know this because I was born in Chicago. So we were taught in school about the Chicago fire, of course. But I didn't even know my neighbor in St. Louis had a bigger one. I didn't even know they had one. Everyone had a Great Fire at some point, and it looks like almost every city in the world did. Why? How? Well, when you look at the timeline of when the fire started to when they kind of ended, they're still going on. Okay, Maui had a lot of old world buildings. I'm not tying it all into that, but I'm just saying it's still going on. And I think some of these wars that we've been through in our lifetime, it has to do with taking out these buildings and destroying their history. Because you can't have an indoctrination camp successful, Sam, if people are questioning their history book.
I couldn't agree more.
Just walk downtown. Anyone listening, go to your downtown. There's old world buildings there. There's mud flooded buildings there. You can see yourself. Now you got to ask yourself, either I'm a retard and I'm a just stupid conspiracy theorist, or when they built these buildings in, call it 1890 with donkeys, they had enough resources. Where are they getting the stone? First of all, and then, the Great Fire, well, stone doesn't burn. Like, how did it get burned to begin with? But I look at it like this, Sam. They base, and this is a gist of it, and this is also speculation, but for my research the last year now, it looks like something happened in the 1800s, possibly late 1700s, mid 1800s. I'm not going to call it a reset. I don't know what it is, but something happened here on this earth that we're not being taught about. And the remnants and the evidence of it is everywhere. And when I look at these old photos of 1850, 1860 with beautiful, giant old temples, but dirt roads, no, that's reverse. You put the road down first, and then you build your building. At least that's what I think.
Right, I get what
but
you're
it's all
saying.
mud. So it looks like they're digging these buildings up and going, you know what? Let's stop the level of the floor here, because if we keep going down, they're gonna see all this stuff. So it's
That's
like
so
it's flooded up,
interesting.
it hardened, and that's why you see. And I was just on Melrose driving here, man. There's old world buildings all down Melrose where you see a window, a door on the bottom of the building.
Yeah.
Well, what architect would do that? Well, let's build this building. Let's start with a mud road and let's make a half a door here. And it looks, and some of these buildings have bricks put into that arch. They didn't even want people to know that was a door. And it's in every city across the world, period. So does that mean that we were diverted back in the day? Like we were taught, Korea has their architecture, right? Rome has theirs. America has theirs, apparently, which is shit rectangles.
Well, Tucker,
cube worship, technically.
Tucker talks about that, but we'll get into that, why he thinks Tucker Carlson, regardless of what you think of him. He's been hitting on some shit, but he talks about how they're purposefully making our architecture ugly and depressing.
Well, that's I mean, I could agree with that a little bit, but I still look at it from the aspect of they can't do it the way our ancients did. They don't even know how.
So this weekend we were in St. Louis, and Sam.
No, it was Indianapolis where we were
Eddie
driving
told me
around.
with the building.
And
Eddie
Sam
sent me
kept-
some photos.
Yeah, Sam kept saying we were in 1776
Well,
or something
I mean,
like
that
that.
also, we'll get into that in a few, but timelines, ages, they fast forward, like,
1,000
kings
years,
and royal,
seems like, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, this king wanted to be like the king of this year, which was like 1,000. So he just fast forwarded 250 years or something. So it went from 17 something to 1,000 years.
Yep.
So some prophecy could be fulfilled. So I mean, it's like so crazy. Like,
Well, they had to add 1,000 years to the timeline, technically, because you can't come up with all these stories of all this stuff without a hijacked version of it all. You can't just skip right through, because to me, man, the evidence is clear. This old world, whoever built this structures, whether it was giants or God, I have no idea. I wasn't there. Whoever built that was just here. They were just here. Like, I'm talking 200 years ago, 250 years ago, they were just here. So that means, to me, again, this is me talking now. To me, I was already heading this way with the flat earth and the cosmology lies of the globe and everything. I'm like, you know what, man? Maybe everything's a lie. I'm talking about George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, pilgrims, cowboys and Indians, all the stuff they fed us in school. How can I be like, well, let me think of some of that as still true. No, that's just, I don't know what gets in the way, if it's ego, pride, or stupidity, but these are liars, guys. They've been lying to us since indoctrination camp started. And they used to be called, what were they? Were the orphans, right? The asylums.
it's so interesting because I remember the term train full of orphans.
Mm-hmm.
You would hear that in comedy and cartoons. Yeah. Oh, he's got to save this train full of orphans. Oh, this train full of orphans heading off the tracks. You would hear that all the time. And you're like, that you'd never pay attention to that.
Out of sight, out of mind.
And you're like, oh, it's just a train full of orphans. But then you start to study this shit and you're like, oh, dude, that's like really dark. Yeah. That's like incredibly dark. Those are kids who have been kidnapped from their parents and
sold. Yeah, sold too. A lot of them were sold, like willingly sold. So for me, I look back at the family tree, and I've talked to many people about this, and I had them do their tests, right? I did mine. I couldn't find anyone before 1860. I found no one in my family before 1860 came up on any site. And then when I started asking different races and ethnicities to do the same thing, I got back the same fucking answer, man. That it's like no one existed before 1860. If you look at your family tree, you won't find it. If you do, please DM me or email me.
I have. I've gone back to like England in the 1600s, if I'm honest.
Your family tree.
Yeah, yeah.
But what website is this? Because every single time people go to this, Johnny, they say that there's nothing
I don't know if
before
I
that.
believe it, but I can just tell you that I have traced it back.
Oh,
that
you're
way.
saying that you're looking at it from that standpoint of it could be bullshit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, but I can tell you that they're.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, and the people in my family who've done it much more seriously than me have gone back that far. But I don't know.
Not that I believed it, but like Ancestry.com, that's all just what you're saying is that's just made up bullshit.
I don't know.
How do you do that?
It could be Wikipedia's version of it all. I don't know. I didn't research these big corporations with family tree evidence. I mean, I don't know. But
there are people that my great grandfather was born, before 1860, and he's buried in our yard, basically. So that's something I can touch,
Yeah, he'd still be alive in that time. I'm talking about before that, meaning who's his grandpa, bro? Who's his great grandpa?
I mean, he's buried there too. So I get what you're saying.
Johnny's is all in one place because he's like hamsters and they're just humping
they
each
have
other,
farmers,
and they never leave that place. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, there's
it's
just an
tough
assumption.
to find the information before that. That's all. It's very, very tough.
Then you start getting like 4 generations back. Like my mother's grandma is and she's the one that they dealt with all of the Armenian genocide stuff from Van, which is a Armenian village that at this time is in Turkey. The lines go back and forth, but this time is in Turkey. His whole family got slaughtered. That is the beginning of the known family.
What year?
I mean, he was in there in 1915, 1917 in there in that area. So that's when the genocide happened. So
a lot of wars and fires.
And Armenia is like huge for ancient civilization timeline stuff. And that is my 100% belief why they are just lighting up Armenia right now, because it has so much old world history and they want to just wipe it off the map.
They've been wiping it off the map since the mid 1850s.
I totally agree.
And they only keep a few. It's like, again, with the World's Fairs, either way, whether you're on Johnny's side with the World's Fairs or you research, if you look at the world,
that's
that wasn't a knock.
Well played.
That wasn't a knock. I'm saying the Smithsonian's not going to really tell you much. But in terms of, people tell me all the time, oh man, they can't Photoshop back in 1920 and stuff. Are you kidding me? You don't think that they know how to do photo manipulation in 1920?
Here's my biggest, other than the images and the well-documented newspapers, evidence of them building those structures. And this is the only point. Tartaria, on the whole, totally buy it and think it's just this World's Fair point that I have a little bit of a problem with. But there were people that are, directly, that just a few generations removed from people living now that witnessed those things going up, especially like Chicago, that weren't there, and then they were. You know what I mean? And there's no evidence of anybody being like, what happened to the ancient buildings that were always here? Why did they get wiped away? I don't know. That just seems like a bridge
Johnny,
too
let
far
me
from-
ask you a question.
you first.
Okay.
Everybody asks.
What?
I hate doing the devil's advocate. by the
Why?
way.
That's your job.
Leave me alone. I got a headache.
This
That's
is the
what he's thinking.
podcast because we'll just believe everything. You have to
Right,
pump
but
the
I don't.
brakes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
But do you ever get shit? No, most people thank you for asking the questions because that's not
I
what
just don't
I
want
like
to be
to
a wet blanket.
Well, it's too late. Okay, so Johnny, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let's just say that you believe
Horse and buggy.
that this was built in the timeline that they say.
Well, the Chicago World's Fair, though, is like, that's all glory. It's like a pumped up paper mache. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Even though most of those buildings are still there today.
Yeah, okay.
Not most of them are not
Let
there.
me
from
ask you
everything I've read.
something, Johnny. Let me
There's
ask
one
you
built.
something. All this stuff is built, and it is glorious. That is the most glorious paper mache shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry, it is glorious. Let me ask you that. You're saying that, okay.
There's photos of it being built, though.
Okay.
Their people's grandparents worked on this. Their diaries. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like they made this story up out of whole cloth. They did a lot of fakery if they faked the story.
That's what we're saying.
I know, it's entirely possible. I just believe the
let
evidence.
me ask you something. Why did they tear it down?
Because it was built out of temporary materials, is what I'm telling you.
So that was built in temporary material?
Well, I don't know if that's one of the buildings
That
from the
is,
Chicago
and that's
World's Fair.
mostly glass. So where'd they get the glass from?
look, so
Where'd they
that's-
get
Where'd
the
they get
glass
the
from?
glass
That's
from?
what. Where'd the glass come
Where'd
from
they
back
get
then?
all-
That's Crystal Palace.
That was
That's,
before- isn't
that's
that
in
before
England.
the
Johnny
glass
can't see
manufacturing?
what we're looking
That's
at.
the Crystal
Can
Palace.
you see what
Yeah,
we're looking
that's
at?
in England. Yeah, that's the Crystal Palace in England.
Here's the thing: even with the Chicago World's Fair, and
That's
the-
1851.
there's still buildings left in Chicago. It was just there. If those buildings, even though again the story says the other buildings they just torn down, they kept a few, right?
I mean, look at all the light
Well,
bulbs.
the
and
ones
stuff.
they
kept,
made them-
The ones they kept, you can see the pillars on the inside when it was installed, brand new. Looks like it looks like it was just it's brand new, and the outside has a little weathering. But here's my point: that building is still standing today. So if they were temporary,
Well, I mean, I can
wouldn't
only
have fell
assume that
apart?
either some of them were.
and it's
prep
not made of
for-
paper. It's stone.
It's not-
It's
I mean, I
marble.
said
I was
glorified
there.
paper
You'll
mache.
see the film. I was there, Johnny. It's stone and
Yeah,
marble.
but what I'm telling you is the ones that aren't there are the ones that were made of temporary
Okay,
material.
so let's talk about the ones that you can agree
why
with.
would, well, why would
were
they?
not
Why
the
would they
paper
be
ones.
content to let those continue then? If the idea was to erase this entire history, why?
That's
why?
what the fair was for, to show off our ancient civilization's technology,
And then destroy it.
to share it, to trade it. These are the elites coming to these
and then
things,
and
man.
then destroy it
love
immediately.
this.
Like, what's
Well, yeah, they're still destroying it. They destroyed it before the fair. They're destroying it
and
now.
there was nobody was just like, why are we destroying our best buildings?
No, here's the problem with this why and the people is when you pull up a lot of these photos, especially of just Chicago, not the fair, just Chicago in 1860 or 1870, or just San Francisco 1860, there's no people there. You see wide shots of giant cities all over our country.
I mean, this is
and,
what I-
and
this
you
is
can
what-
zoom in and there's no people around. I'm not talking about the fair. Of course, there's people at the fair.
You can see all the scaffolding for it all. I mean, they would
Yeah,
have had to
what
fake
it is
all
though,
this
Johnny,
stuff.
if you look closely, it's scaffolding. It's those little things they wrap around an already done building.
No. Look, can you see what I'm looking at right here? I mean, this is just the that was the administration dome for
That
the.
looks like artwork if you zoom in.
Does look like art.
No, if you zoom in, it's art. I'm saying they're at great artists.
not-
And to me, this could have been drawn up in the 60s, Johnny.
Oh, it's
we
certainly
don't know.
it's certainly possible, but I mean that plays both ways. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, that does play both ways.
Yeah.
It's just very
Now, here-
interesting.
one thing I want to say with
And if
the,
they
with, the
put
hand, with the
scaffolding-
handful of construction photos from the mid 1800s or early 1900s, the handful of them for all these buildings, there's only a handful, and they don't have them on every building. There's only a handful that will say, "Here's some construction of it." Ask yourself this: if you're constructing this building that looks beautiful on the outside, guess what the inside looks like? It's way better than the outside. It's majestic, but there's no construction of the inside, Johnny.
Well, I mean,
That's my
what
point.
about this?
Someone, if you're taking photos back then, which they had photos way before that, but if you're taking photos of these sticks, right here we go. Oh yeah, like some sticks. Yeah, I'll take some photos. By the way, that's another artwork on the
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
but my point is, most people don't think that's artwork. They think, oh, it's construction of the old world. Listen, where's the interior shots? I just want to
Well, I've
see
seen them
a
of the
guy
St.
on a
Louis
horse
Fair.
painting murals with his fucking hand and carving shit with his hand. And here's the thing, Johnny. Most of these buildings, I'm outside the fair now in a sense, but most of these old world buildings that were supposedly built 1880, 1890, 1910, who built them? When you look, there is no construction company. If you find an architect name, he won a contest or something. Or there were prisoners that they made build these buildings.
Here's an interior image, I would say, right here. This thing is the same.
No. You're missing my point. Anyone can stand
Well,
by
but I'm
sticks.
just talking about
I
the
know.
World's Fair. Is what I'm talking about.
I get it. I get
That's
it.
just my. And I've told Sam I only take exception with that
Sure.
because there were people, potentially
I
a
love
million
this.
people living in a city who would have seen these buildings there before.
See, but
and
you
then
believe there's a
disappear
million people in that city. I don't, Johnny. You believe there was
Yeah, I
millions of
do.
people
I
in
do,
that
yeah.
city. That's
I mean,
fine.
I
That's
believe-
fine.
At what you believe there was a
1860?
million people in Chicago in the 1800s?
Well, however many, but not five, not nobody. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I'd say a couple thousand. Again, but
A couple
where
thousand people in Chicago.
Where'd
Okay.
they come from? It doesn't matter how many. Where'd they
most
come
of them
from?
Europe.
Oh, it says it was almost 2 million.
Look at that. It says it was almost 2 million.
Well,
Oh, the whole
that's
state.
Illinois.
That's the
Chicago
whole
was
state.
about 109,000. It says.
So say there's
Largest city was 100.
100,000 people back then. Now, the percentage of people that would be needed to construct buildings like that, where'd their skill set come from? Again, I go always back to the materials.
Well, the
And
Masons are the keepers of the skill sets.
I wonder why they're called Freemasons, because they found the Freemasonry. They found everything
That's
was
so
free.
interesting.
Well, they're not lying in the name, man. most of these cities, let alone buildings, say founded. They don't say built. They say it's founded. Well, yeah, they're telling you the truth.
It says 1890. It says in 1893 that Chicago was about 1 million people in Chicago. So I was almost exactly right.
Oh yeah. We all can be exactly right with what the state government website says. I get it, but it's
Right, but
bullshit. It's horseshit. I
I'm
know
just
you
saying,
don't agree with that. In a
I
sense.
believe, as far as the history that goes back maybe a couple hundred years, I mostly believe that because there's so much physical evidence from that time that I've just seen in museums and stuff. But past that, I mean, it's all completely possibly fabricated. I mean, there's nothing I take for granted beyond that. Really.
For the people like Johnny that know the old world was there, but some of these fairs, you go on that realm of it. I respect that, but here's the thing: I'm just basically to get me out of the World Fair stage of like, hey, just leave the World Fairs alone.
And that's the only thing I can play devil's advocate
shots. I need interior shots.
Well, I put some up, and you said anybody can stand by sticks.
Those are sticks. Have you seen the inside
but that's what
of these
buildings look like.
Have you seen the inside of these
About
buildings?
finished. Are you talking about like a finished product inside of the building?
Half finished. Give me half. I'll give $1 million. Give me half of a finished interior cathedral that's the size of Texas inside. I want to see these guys bringing their horses in and hand carving every fucking pillar. That would take 1 year.
Well,
per pillar,
you're asking for something that's impossible.
What? No, it is possible. You're showing me pictures of sticks. I want to see 6 months later, and I want to see the inside. There's zero, Johnny. And these are the most beautiful buildings you'll ever walk into, and you get a sense of energy when you walk in, man. It's different than walking in your buddy's house, a little slack or something, or a condo or apartment, or even a modern home, even a mansion, a modern mansion. It's a whole nother energy. You will feel it when you walk in an overall building. It's a different vibration.
The only thing. This is one thing. This is the only thing that is close that I could find is these guys doing whatever the hell they're doing.
Yeah, they used to transport statues all the time. Old world statues, they would move. Look at the Statue of Liberty was always not in New York. You guys know that, right? I mean,
it was from France.
Yeah, that's right.
We are from France.
They would take stuff and move it and confuse everybody of what's what. And then they put her on a star fort, to be honest,
So what's very interesting...
that's them looking at statues. I'm talking about, if you look at any old world building and go indoors, whether you want to pull up a picture of any old world building and indoor, doesn't matter. People know what they look like. I want to see it being built on the inside. I want to see people hand carving these stones and these murals, and there's zero. And I've looked for a year.
I mean, this guy didn't even do a good job on his statue. Look at this guy. He's proud of it. But
they don't try that hard.
He kind of didn't do a great job. But, I mean, clearly, look, he's dirty.
Yeah, so maybe he's touching up an already made statue, man.
Possibly. I mean, that one's pretty hideous.
Hey, guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our friends at Helix. Let me tell you about Helix. That's right. HelixSleep.com. Listen, I love sleep. You love sleep. We all need to sleep. We spend most of our time sleeping. And your mattress is the most important part of your sleep. Without a mattress, what are you going to do? And that's why I want to tell you about the people at Helix Sleep. Listen, they have one of the best out there. I mean, dude, I love Helix Sleep, dude. My favorite Helix mattress, let me tell you about it. Bang! It's a Helix Midnight Luxe. That thing is like warm butter sleeping in. It's the best. Dude, I don't know what I would do without my Helix mattress. Do you guys have a Helix mattress?
Absolutely, I do. Yes, I love it.
Dude,
Sleep on it every night.
I'm taking the quiz right now.
He's taking the quiz right now. Look at, he's lying about how tall he was. Like he's like Helix is test is like a chick.
That's the lie. That's the lie. Not the person I'm sleeping with.
There we go. So Kim Kardashian's nice, dude. Nice. So you go there. It's a real quick quiz. It's fast. It's easy. It's fun, and it will help you figure out which one of Helix's 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe collection, the newly released Helix Elite collection, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress for just kids. Whatever mattress, it's going to figure out which one's the best one for you and personalize it. That's right, dude. Get your personalized mattress, and it's shipped straight to your door, free of charge. Helix knows there's no better way to test out a mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home. In your home, with your own mattress. And that's why they're going to give you a 100-night trial. That's right. And 10 to 15-year warranty, man. Come on, what last?
Trial? Wow.
A trial.
On a mattress.
A trial. That's right. For a mattress. Everyone's unique and everyone sleeps differently. That's why Helix has several different models to choose from. Each one is designed specifically for specific sleep positions and feel preference. Wow. It's that great. So here's what we want you to do. It's really that simple. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/tinfoil. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. So go to helixsleep.com/tinfoil to get 20% off all mattresses and 2 free pillows for just Tinfoil Hat listeners. That's helixsleep.com/tinfoil to get this amazing offer. Enjoy your sleep.
Well, again, you have to understand the logic I'm trying to address here is that if there's there's only a couple handfuls, guys, but out of those couple handfuls of photos of the construction of the outside of these giant buildings, there's none on the interior. There's none. That doesn't make any sense. When the interior of these buildings look more majestic than even the outside. The outside, you're like, holy shit, what the fuck? What the fuck? Now you get cube worship, which I call it. You just get rectangles. That's what we get built now. I thought it was evolution. This is devolving here. We used to have better technology. We had better buildings. They built these structures, in my opinion, for harmonizing the city, harmonizing the community. They would talk about wireless stuff, technology, Bluetooth, whatever we call it now. They had all this stuff, and they would use the organs, the church bells, to clean the consciousness, to clean the energy, the vibration, reset the vibration of the community.
Vibrations. You do that with tuning forks. You can do that as well.
And they revert
the organ, right? Yeah.
The organ, yeah. And they reverse engineered that. And guess what they do now? They trap everyone in to pray, and they're sucking your energy out of the building. It was reversed before. You would go there to energy harvest and you would heal your body. Now you're going there to go la 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 for 2 hours. I'm not making fun of it. I'm saying everyone's in sync. Your energy's all vibrating at around the same level. And as far as I've read, I can't prove this, but it seems like a lot of these bigger, especially the bigger cathedrals that are worldwide churches now, they have reverse engineered it. They know exactly how to drain your energy in that building and source it and use it against us. It's crazy. It goes crazy. It goes deep, man.
So I want to go. Can you go to that city in Kazakhstan that we were looking at?
Which one was that one? I'm gonna look it up.
Look up cities in Kazakhstan and try to spell Kazakhstan.
I got one city after this. You guys got to look up. It blows your mind.
And this is a very interesting thing because again, this gets into them lying to. Okay, so this is the city of what is the city?
It's Astana.
Astana, Kazakhstan. Okay. And the reason this is interesting to me is because they're talking about how this city is now like the Freemason capital of the world.
Really?
And
when was this founded?
Well, what's interesting about it is like this is where the Pope is going to meet with people to start the New World Order, one religion, and all that stuff.
My wife.
And when you realize like how Americans perceive Kazakhstan, which is all through Borat, which is like everyone thinks they're a bunch of goat fuckers, and then you look at their like this fits into like. What you're saying, like, is it lost technology or is it like purposefully done to lower just aesthetically what we look at all the time?
And look what we're looking at here. You see
this is only 20 years old, this whole
No,
city.
but that's what I'm trying to
crazy.
say. Like, we have this technology to build this and we're not. We're built. Look at this. Look at the shapes. Look at this.
Well,
right
this
there.
kind of fits into what you were saying about Tucker, right? They're kind of demoralizing us with this brutalist architecture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then you go to what is being believed as the Freemason capital of the world because it's somewhere that nobody talks about.
And they got this old world look to it, right?
And they got this old world look to it.
They're trying to show off that they figured out a way to kind of maybe make it look similar.
Where do you see that? Except for Vegas, maybe, but like even Vegas built poorly. It's like, look at this, dude. It's like insane.
Like, and what's I wonder what the GDP of Kazakhstan is like. Because you would think that this would be like, I mean, it's what, 200 bill or something like that. I mean, we just sent that much to Israel. What is that? Is that 200 trillion? I guess. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's what I mean. Like that's our a fraction of our debt.
Well, I know that was 190
Was it? I don't
billion.
billion. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I mean
was-
that's. But anyway, it's nothing compared to what we have, in the United
Well,
States.
that's where
we
you would
can't seem
want to put it, where nobody is and nobody's looking.
No, but my point is, they're doing that much with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's our problem?
Does it say how long it took to build that main building? big
Which
one?
one? Which one? The ball thing?
No, like the one that was through the.
The one in that
pyramid-looking
story.
Hold on, go back to the first picture you had up.
Hold on, it's in a.
But it's like
in
you
that
get
news
into
story.
that.
I think I got
You
close.
get into like when everybody, like I have a cousin of mine. She goes on tour. She goes to Japan like every year, every other year, and she loves it there. And I go, I get it, because like they kicked out the Jesuits. By the way, they kicked the Jesuits out, and they
They got
have
a lot of old world there too. They got a lot of original structures still there.
But they're also super advanced, and like people are blown away when they go there how advanced they are, because they think we're the most advanced. They're like, dude, America #1, we're #1, and you're like, no, dude, go to Japan and see like how much farther along they are than us.
Yeah.
Because again, like we've said on this show recently, they have us in a cocoon of comfort, and they've made us dumb.
Well, and that's who designed all of this. If you read 20 years ago, Kazakhstan's president made a radical move by moving its country's capital to a little-known town in the middle of a barren grassland. He renamed the town Astana, meaning capital, or creative, and hired a world-famous Japanese architect to plan every aspect of the city. So some Japanese guy just came in and put the Tokyo flavor.
Now I
on
want to see
Kazakhstan.
that main building. The
Yeah,
one that's,
I'm trying to find
I
out
would
what it's
love to
called.
see how long they said it took them to make it. Because here's my thing. Hopefully, I'm not proven wrong in this one. But imagine if, because this is this is brand new built. 20 years ago they built it. There's probably raw evidence of it too, right?
Yeah,
Not just bullshit sticks. I mean, real construction photos, indoor, outdoor,
Maybe,
right?
maybe
I mean, if
no,
you believe
I'm saying if there was, if they did take
I don't
20 years
believe-
ago, you'd expect it.
I
Obviously,
mean, AI now, you can fake any. of it.
true. But in terms of, let's just say that they do have shots of it, and yeah, right.
read that.
What?
Read that.
Master plan was designed by Japanese architect Kisho Kurokawa.
But look what he designed, who detailed the construction of skyscrapers, roads, houses, units,
It's like Sim City.
government building, and man-made forests, dude. That now we get into some creepy ass shit.
even heard that.
That they went in there and just flipped that shit.
Here's my point, though. Imagine that main building there, just like a normal temple-looking thing that they have. Imagine if they said it took 10 years to build. That's my point of this. Imagine, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. We don't know yet. Hopefully we find out. But imagine if they're like, yeah, this building here took 10 years. And this is, 20 years ago. It took 10 years? Well, you got bigger ones back in 1890, and it's like, oh, yeah, we built that in a year. The timelines, that's what got me, is the deception. Not just what conspiracy can I join. No, like, let me look at this deception here and see what's going. Is there real deception? There is beyond real, raw deception, and it's in their timeline, where you don't even have a construction company name, but you have. It's like it's AI. It's like, I feel like it's AI chat generated, man. Because shout out My Lunch Break, because this YouTube channel is awesome videos. He shows that a lot of these paragraphs.
Holy shit. That's what it was recently?
I mean, that was 2004, it says.
What?
Why would you build anything there?
So how long did it take?
Buildings in Astana, the new capital of Kazakhstan, under construction, January 2004. That's
Dude,
what it looked like in 2004.
That to me is absolutely and like, who knows what they knocked down? This city is only 20 years old.
It looks like there was already an old world building there.
Well, and
unless
it sounds
there's-
like people aren't moving there. Is their problem?
the center looks like an old world building to
Yeah,
begin with.
the
They
White
wanted to
House.
maybe match the.
Yeah.
Dude, that shit's nuts.
Yeah, but what I was saying is a lot of the AI chat generated is what I think, because when you look at these Wikipedia inserts on any public state office or building, or you're downtown in your local area and you're like, dude, look at this quote unquote bank. It's old world. When you look up that building, right? And you see the Wikipedia insert, they give you a little paragraph of the building about when it was built, who built it, and there's there's lack of information there. But when you copy and paste some of these paragraphs, you'll see multiple Wikipedia inserts for multiple buildings across the world with the same exact format, same paragraph, just different people's names. And they take this name out and they'll put another guy's name.
Oh, that's
same story.
super interesting.
And guess what? Most of these inserts on Wikipedia on most of these old world buildings, not the known ones, the big ones, but like little ones in your town, those are recent inserts. I'm talking 2 years or sooner that they have put that in. We had to put something in this building. AI chat. I mean,
It's just
AI, whatever you call it. AI GPT shit.
1999. I mean, 1984.
Read
It's
the
just
inserts
straight
on
up.
your own time. It's like almost the exact same thing every time. And then they have their one of 3 different things they always pull up. Either it was built by prisoners with no experience. Go, hand mold all this and carve it all. Go, prisoner.
Prisoners.
So it was well, that's a true
Go,
story.
prisoner.
That's an actual official story of the narrative that they give us on who built these buildings. 1, prisoners, right? 2, unknown. It's always the architect. He had experience. He died, of course. Then his son came in, and it's the same story always. His son came in and finished the job in another year, and you got this giant thing in 2 years total. What? Where did the buildings? I mean, I'm sorry. Where'd the stone come from? Where'd the glass come from? Where'd the marble come from? And then when you look back then and go, where was marble this year? Where's marble at? Oh, it's 780 miles away from this old world building. So horses, how much water did they need to go 700 miles to get one set of marble, bring it back? And a lot of these inserts will actually, it's hypocritical. I mean, it's truth in plain sight, but they're like millions of pounds of stone or millions of pounds of marble needed. Okay, now do the math.
How much diamond cut blades do they need?
Yeah, exactly. There's no power tools back then, guys. Apparently, there's no electricity either for a lot of these time zones, but you know what? There was. We see lit up. Again, that's another thing with the World's Fair to me is, look at all the power they were showing off back then. I thought it was like mostly coal back then. Like, what was going on back then? All these old world fairs are just like lit up, blissful, gleaming. It's like, wait, they did all that just for a little fair to put them up real quick, take them down real quick. Even though some of the buildings out from these fairs, including San Francisco, they're still there. And when you go up to them, holy shit, they look brand new again. And they're a little weathered, but they're so solid. They will be there another 1,000 years. So to say that someone with horse and buggy with no experience, no crew, no power tools made that, not in 40 years, that'd be a little believable. Maybe I'd leave this topic alone if they're like, yeah, the old world building, it took 40 years for them to knock it out.
40 years.
Okay, well, that would make sense back then in terms of realistic timelines of donkeys, horses, traveling 700 miles each way. How much water are we talking here that horses need to drink? It's unbelievable. And when you do the math of their timeline and their narrative, everything falls apart at that point. It's not just about, look at this old world building. You can see the mud flood. You can see the door on the bottom. Okay, so this building goes down another 200 feet. So this whole world was flooded. And it brought up a new level. That's why they find temples all the time under the ocean. What does that tell you? What, someone built it under the ocean? No. Our water and our land was raised up, and now we're on this new level of life. And they destroyed most of the old world buildings, but the ones they didn't, all of the evidence is right in your face. You don't even need to go on the internet. You could walk up to a fucking building and go, yeah, there it is.
Especially some of the smaller cities. There's a lot of great architecture in these smaller cities that make no sense. Nope. Like you have this gorgeous building that right next to it is like a Dunkin' Donuts. And you're like, what is going on
Evolution,
here?
man, we're getting better.
And then again, you know, I remember because like when we were first doing the tinfoil hat comedy thing, we drive around and Eddie's students would show up and they would drive us around and show us everything. And you would just like, look at that building right there. And it was the grass just cut right over the freaking window. And you're like, who
would build that?
Who would build it like that?
That's the question. And when you go back in time and see these older photos of the construction or the digging up and covering up of them, whichever route you take, that's fine. When you look at these pictures, who would build these beautiful buildings on a dirt road? You build the road first. It's Architect 101. It's foundation. You wouldn't design the building with a half of door on the bottom. So that means, oh, we fucked up again. We got to build stairs going up into a little door now. But when you look at the original door hinges and the original door structure, it's made for 30 feet people. And we saw buildings in San Francisco when I was shooting out there a couple weeks ago, or a month ago now, that not only do you see the giant doors, the original doors, you see the original door handles, which are about 12 feet up. So who made that? Again, even if it was temporary, nobody's that tall. You don't need to make these structures that literally fit giants. It's for giants. Now, do I have evidence of giants? Yeah, I have evidence of people that are 10 feet tall, 11 feet tall. They're all over the place.
What?
8 feet tall, 9 feet tall. That was common back then.
Talk
Common,
to me.
common.
Talk to me.
Shaquille O'Neal and Yao Ming would be the midgets of these families. But I can go even further than that. I think that the 15 feet giants that were just before us, I think that there was people before them way bigger. Because now when you look at mountains, when I can never see mountains the same after watching mine unveiled. Bro, it's crazy.
What are you saying?
Titans, man. Titans get me all worked up.
I was just doing an Instagram live where I accidentally called a guy who flew through a stop sign, a FGG. Hold on. You're on microphone. You guys are having side talks.
Sorry.
So it is of my belief that the Godzilla movies are basically like shout outs to Titans and Nephilims. That there were times. And so if you go, hey man, like what were there, just giants running around? Well, you go, well, what if our land was a lot farther than we're being told right now? Like the prophet Eddie Bravo says this all the time. We are in the most elaborate prison of all time. It's a prison so good that we don't even know we're in it. Right. And again, this gets into things that I say about this country. It's like when we're looking at Kazakhstan and everyone's like, holy shit, that's amazing. That's mind-blowing. Yet most people, again, think they're they're goat fuckers, right? You know?
Poor goat fuckers.
Yeah, because we are
the
drowning in
effect.
comfort. They drowned us in comfort so we don't check anything. All we do is go on Instagram, see buttholes and fist fights and, you know, special needs people doing amazing stuff now, which is mind-blowing.
Thanks, XG.
Thanks, XG. Getting set hot downs all over the place. But the point is that we are just surrounded. We are just drowning in this comfort. So we don't pay any attention to what's going on, which is our government's been hijacked by dark entities, and we are being constantly deceived on how special we are and where we are and all that stuff. And part of it is like if we used to go beyond the wall,
yeah,
right? I mean, like,
well, the 60th parallel is the key. 60th parallel is the key. I mean, I do think there's a lot of land in the north that they're hiding, but I think that the 60 parallel is the key. The United Nations, you know, in the 50s, when they put that together, no one can go over there ever since. So we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. For all we know, the giants went over there. But we don't know. That's the thing. We can speculate all day, all night. But until humanity stops marching for the stupidest shit I've seen in my life for years now, marching in the millions for the stupidest psyops, go march south. As simple as that. Go take your millions of people with your signs and go past the 60th parallel so we can tell humanity what the fuck's going on. And that's just my opinion. But it would take that many people to go, man, because you're on radar, dude.
What was the show that we had? The Bach Saga. Have you heard the Bach Saga?
It sounds familiar.
Bach Saga. We've had people on the show talk about it. And it's very interesting because it's about, I forget what the country. Will you look up Bach Saga, guys? And I forget what country comes out, but basically their language and their alphabet is based on this story.
Okay.
So if it doesn't fit in this storyline, it's not real. Meaning if it's not a letter in the story. Okay. And it's basically about these angelic people who came down from past an ice wall. Wow. And you go, okay, what does that sound like? Game of Thrones?
Attack on Titans.
Right?
There's a lot of stuff that
I mean, there's so much stuff about, like, look at, like, they're telling you in Game of Thrones, there's something beyond the wall.
There is. I mean, again, we could speculate and have fun with it all day, but maybe they really are. Maybe the Giants left, man. Maybe they left. Maybe they built this stuff and left. I mean, was it migration a thing in our life? Like we were always taught about migration. We were always taught about exploration, but yet none of us migrate, none of us explore.
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you want to? It's like Prometheus, you know, when they finally meet the creator or whatever, and the guy's just like an asshole, you know, tries to kill them immediately.
Watch what you wish for.
Yeah, good point, man. But
that's my whole opinion. Watch what you wish for. Hey, guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our friends at Fume. Let me tell you about Fume. Hey, guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our friends at Fume. That's right. Cold turkey may be great on a sandwich, okay? But there are better ways to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor or some crazy spiritual mumbo jumbo from hot chicks on TikTok. Okay. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume, and they look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Okay. Fume is an innovative, award-winning device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all natural, delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and making replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes in an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for your fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while you're breaking your habit, okay? I love it. I love it's well-weighted, perfectly balanced, extremely fun to fidget with. It's made of real wood, and the shapes are insane. It feels cool using it. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has thousands of successful stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup with destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Try Fume.com and use code TINFOIL to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today, okay? Try Fume, F-U-M.com, and use the code TINFOIL for additional 10% off your Journey Pack today. Enjoy!
What I was saying with some of these mountains and ranges and stuff is that it looks like someone laying down. It looks like someone standing. It looks like someone's nose. It looks like someone's hand. No, there's millions, and hopefully they give you related because, you know, Google search engines it's hard to find anything like this. I got a folder of this shit. I should have shared with you guys before I got on the show, but I'm talking about from kidneys to cocks to vaginas to giant vaginas, which is a tunnel. It's a tunnel. No, you could probably again. I mean, even DuckDuckGo, dude. No one's showing shit anymore. It's very hard to find the stuff. But I got so many real images. These are images you could do yourself. You can go to the same mountain, take a picture of it, flip it, and go, wait a minute, holy shit, that's an elephant.
Right,
that's
so
an elephant, you know?
So what do you see there? Do you see anything there?
Yeah, that's a guy laying down, right?
It's a guy taking a nap.
That's why they always say laying giants, right? The laying giants. There's so many cartoons from back in the day of giants building cities and leaving or disappearing and all this giant stuff. And it's like, you look over time.
That's a penis?
No, I don't think so. But if you did type in...
I think that's just called the Titan.
It's called the Titan. That's so crazy.
Like mud fossil penis or vagina cave. No, you'll find.
Look at this. Look at this one. Is that one real?
That's Denzel.
That's not a movie, yeah.
Oh no, that's. Have you seen Wesley Snipes
check
now?
the file. See if they might show like a quick video of just a bunch of stills. That it didn't pull the video up. No, I'm telling you right now, man. That I don't know about this one here. I don't know, but even this, it's so obvious. So what I did was I started to look at really high quality photos of mountains, you know, just stock stuff or very nice drones.
Yeah.
And then I could flip it at that point. Instead of looking at their photo, I want to see the highest quality mountain photo of this, that, or the other. And yeah, man, I mean, the detail of it, when you get a drone over there, it looks like we're walking on Titans.
For you.
We're walking on mountains. There you go.
Oh my God. Rock.
No, just, you know.
Rock hard, I would say.
Rock hard.
No, that was from the Big Bang. Those are all from the Big Bang, Sam.
Dude, imagine if you died and you were died rock hard and it stayed. And then somebody's like taking pictures of it with your rock hard.
There's a lot, though. And a lot of vaginas. A lot of vaginas. A lot of hands, animals. You talk about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is bullshit. There was big birds, but not dinosaurs. The guy that invented the word dinosaur, years later, found the first dinosaur. I can't make this up.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What the fuck? There's something. I'm gonna come up with something called dinosaurs. It's really cool. You know. And then years later, he's like, "Hey, by the way, I just found a bone, and it's It's our first dinosaur
A
bone.
bone. Yeah.
Yeah, or they're giant bones. You look at newspapers, in late 1800s, early 1900s, newspapers are stating over and over again, we're finding bones from giants. We don't know where to put them. They're dumping them in oceans. We're going to dump them in an ocean this year. We're going to dump these in another ocean.
Dude, here's
Bones
the crazy
everywhere.
thing. And this is one of my favorite memes ever. It's so hilarious to me. And it's basically this. It goes, George Washington didn't know dinosaurs exist, but probably thought giants were real. America's first president died in 1799. Science didn't prove the existence of dinosaurs till 1841. Right? I mean, like, think about that. George Washington never knew dinosaurs existed. How ridiculously stupid is that?
Someone that probably didn't exist wouldn't know about something that never existed.
I think Lincoln believed in. He's like on the record talking about giants. Abraham Lincoln. You mentioned the thing about them finding giant
Hold
bones
on,
too.
you don't
and-
think George Washington existed?
Any of them. He says none of them. Abraham Lincoln. He says
Oh,
none
so
of
those
the
wooden
founding
teeth in the
fathers were
museum
real.
just.
You think someone just made up wooden teeth?
Yeah.
Yes,
Hold on. Abraham Lincoln didn't exist.
not in my opinion. No.
How? Explain.
Well, the original president of America probably would have been in the mid 1800s. Yeah.
So my great grandfather, who came home with stories about
We just talked
surviving
about that. His
Gettysburg.
great grandpa would not have a president, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right.
I mean, he's
His
got
great-grandpa
stories about
wouldn't.
where did he march then in Pennsylvania? Where he
That's
says.
what I mean. These are the Rockefeller educational stories that you can choose to believe or
No,
not
no, he
believe.
was alive. I'm telling you, my
Yeah.
great grandfather came home with stories that have been passed down in my family about marching to Gettysburg and surviving because he was so short that everybody shot over his head.
But they drew
They
What?
someone.
Is that a real story,
yeah,
Johnny?
it's a real story. Yeah.
Johnny,
Well-
your great grandfather was a magical midget.
Well, he wasn't mid. I mean, but he was like 5 foot nothing, and he was like, yeah, they shot over my head, so I survived. But
That is
Gettysburg,
so
yeah.
crazy, bro. If you didn't come from midgets, you wouldn't be here right now.
I don't know. Isn't that
That's
crazy?
crazy because my family survived the genocide, and my grandfather's whole family was murdered.
They
in
say
front
keep
of
your
him.
head down,
And then like I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah, that would be weird.
Disturbing. to
Okay,
thought about.
let me
no,
let me
so-
retract.
okay.
He could have been a real man. Okay,
Yeah, so
I'm
Abraham
just
Lincoln,
saying
yeah.
in terms of the presidents and in terms of how they gave us the entire story from the first president to now, if you call him a president. All of that's
Okay, but there has
fabrication.
to. Okay. Well, you say that there still has to be something in the history. Something happened. You can't just say
Well,
all of a
it's
sudden
like,
nothing
why-
happened.
Not if
why-
the world was reset, man, which it looks clear as day that it was.
But if you look at
Petrified.
Washington,
Everything was-
D.C.,
was-
it is very Freemason, right? I mean, there is something. I'm not saying that. I mean, I think timelines are all messed up. I'm not
On
saying.
purpose, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
to confuse everyone, man. But here's the thing: whether these original presidents of our country or the official story of how we all should know that Columbus didn't discover it. So again, when you start there, and you go, wait, who's teaching?
Oh,
who's
Columbus didn't what?
discover America?
He didn't discover, but you don't believe he came here either, or what do you consider discovered?
No, I don't think
He's
he
another
discovered
guy.
it.
He's
No,
a-
I know
he's
he
a-
didn't discover, but you don't think he landed on Plymouth Rock?
No,
No, Columbus didn't go to
I mean,
Plymouth Rock.
yeah,
Columbus
He
didn't even
definitely
get on.
did.
Yeah.
He definitely did.
well, again,
Wasn't he in like the
I'm-
Caribbean or something?
I'm just going to speak for myself and many I know that again, he's another one, made up character, man. These are made
Albert
up.
Einstein, made up character
No,
as well.
he's 100% real.
The Bahamas. That's right.
100% real.
Yeah, I was wondering.
No.
I was wondering how far you were going to go. I was like, well,
It's not far. It's guess what, man? You could believe two stories. Both of them you weren't there for. Either they did exist and everything in our history books is true, or maybe they didn't exist and all of these stories in our history books are pure fabrications from the Masons, from the Jesuits, from whoever you want to call them. They created this. This is why they populated our country to begin with. These buildings were already here. Our cities were already built. We had all this stuff, all this technology. And after something that happened in the early 1800s, maybe late 1700s, but early 1800s, something happened worldwide. And now all of a sudden we get these top hat people coming into these empty cities going, all right, we got to destroy a little bit of this here before we populate it. And then these orphan trains are just right on time, bringing in thousands of kids at a time with no adults on the train. Just thousands. I got photos for days.
Where do you think they
Thousands
came
of
from,
kids
the top
coming
hat
in with
people?
no parents.
Where do you think the top hat people came from? Europe.
I don't know, man. It's hard to figure out even when our human race started to begin with. Everything is such a lie that it's for me it's technically pure speculation, anyone's opinion on history, right? Because we weren't there. But in terms of at least the architecture, the covering up, the timeline bullshit, and just so many lies surrounding the old world. It's kind of clear though, man. It's pretty obvious how they did it and why they did it. Like Sam said, all these wars over architecture, and they haven't stopped. And I'm not going to say that Maui was direct energy weapon or whatever you want to say it. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's just because of the old world. No.
Here's
But
that Lincoln
at the same
quote.
time, they had a lot of old world buildings. A lot of them. Possibly Lahaina had the most in all of Hawaii. Possibly.
Really?
Yeah. And again, this is according to my audience and hopefully the swarm that wants to help me out. This is another trip I have planned if the fundraiser keeps going up is Hawaii with BJ Penn. BJ Penn wants to be in this film because he goes, you got to come to Hawaii because I got to show you some stuff. I don't even want to talk about it on the phone type of thing. Like, I got to show you stuff here. You have to bring your camera. And I'm like, okay, you're on my bucket list.
Let's do it.
I pray that the fundraiser moves. I got so many boots on the ground, man.
Where
and
is
here's the
it?
thing.
Where's the link for it? What can you say?
Fundraiser.com/Old World Order or OWOfilm.com. I think that's the easiest one, OWOfilm.com. But here's the thing, man. This isn't about anything more than the truth for me. I just want to find out how much deception of the old world and the new story of history can I shed light on? This is what this film is going to do. How much light can I shine on the deception? How many times can I show someone over and over again that these buildings cannot take 1 year to build? Today, guys, today, we can't build that in a year. With all of our technology that's so good, apparently, and power tools, and big bodybuilders and architects that had 30 years experience. They didn't have that back then. These were rookies, apparently. So if we can't do that now in a year, they cannot do that in a year back then with horses and no power tools. So once you can admit, okay, well, they're lying about the timeline. They're lying about how long it took. Well, then that's a good starting point.
How old do you think Earth is?
Thousands.
So, I mean, you're not a Christian?
Maybe 1,000
Are
or
you not
two.
a Christian?
I don't follow any religion.
Are you atheist?
Absolutely not. No, if I had to put a label on myself, maybe a creationist, maybe. I just think we have a creator, a holy creator, a powerful everything that built this for us.
Okay.
And we're destroying it
So
in the process.
you think it could be, because there's Christians who think we're 6,000 years old, but you think we could be much older than that.
No, I don't. These are all guesses. Doesn't matter who guesses what. They're pure guesses. My guess would be maybe 2,000 years.
Okay.
That's just my guess.
So,
including what about the pyramids?
Pyramid, again, that's another slippery slope with this Tartaria, with these empires. It looks like Egypt was Tartaria. It looks like they lied about that. That this wasn't something from 2, 4, 5, 10,000 years. The same people built all of it. So all of it was built, and the pyramids have been found. And I got some documents in this film that I'm going to show everybody. Like, I'm not 100% on some of the stuff, guys, but some of these pyramid structures, blueprints I found, classified stuff, whatever you want to call it. The pyramids were the top of a Tartarian building that flooded. So we got the tops.
You see that with doors. Like some of those buildings in Egypt have doors, like he's talking about. They're just way high up.
But think about it this way, actually. Remember what I said before, there were temples under the ocean. They're still there, some of them. Remnants, at least. If the ocean and the land all rose up during a mud flood or something crazy, right? A worldwide mud flood, call it. And everything rose up. That means the tops of the pyramids, which, as far as my research, looks like the tops of big, huge old world buildings. That was the top of them. So
we're only going to go even deeper.
You're only going to see the top.
So what happened to Göbekli Tepe is the same thing that happened to the pyramids. How it's just
maybe
how it's flooded up.
Yes.
You know how they had to dig it up.
Correct.
And it's the oldest of it. You think that was?
I think it's everywhere worldwide. Every building, everything that looks like it's from a long time ago was in my opinion up and standing in beautiful condition in its fullest form less than 200 years ago. It was all there. There was no raise in our earth level and our system. Nothing was raised up. And this is why there's a great fire in every city. If you think about it, if the rulers came here, the Masons, the Jesuits, the whoever, okay, the people that came here and said, wow, look at these built out cities. No one lives here. What are we going to do? Well, we got to populate it. Yeah, but we don't want people to see all of this. They're going to be like, wait, you guys didn't just build that this year. What's going on? So there's a fire or a quote unquote earthquake fire, like they always call them. Okay. Or a cow tipped over something and the entire city is gone. from a cow tipping over something.
I mean,
Makes no
that
sense.
happened in Maui.
Well,
One little fire, one.
Not a little fire.
okay,
Come
I'm
on,
about to say,
one
you
little-
don't think a fire did that?
Yeah,
in Maui.
he tried, and then
go
he-
watch Maui in 15, free on YouTube.
You know what's so interesting about this is that, people are people when you go, oh, the Earth is only 6,000 years old. They act like that's like no time.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Yeah,
act
right.
like that's nothing. Like, oh, come on, 6,000 years. Like, dude, look at the world from like 1950 to today.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's only like what? 70 years?
Well, if you do
73 years?
if you judge it that way, Sam, look at it this way. Think about everything before, call it 1920. Mostly everything before 1920. We had nothing, guys. We had nothing our whole lives. We had no way to travel, no technology, no internet, obviously,
Boring.
no phones, no televisions, no power tools. You could keep going down the list of inventions. We have nothing our whole lives, and then in 50 years compress everything. No one invented this shit. It was stolen. It was founded, it was stolen, it was traded, and it was sold back to the public as look what we got, new technology today. My grandpa, 98 years old when he passed, and I talked to him about some pretty crazy stuff towards his later days. And I'm like, he can't get mad at me. Like, but I would always ask him about television because I knew growing up that he would go around the community in Chicago picking up people that were throwing out their old TV sets. This was like, maybe 70s and 80s. And he would bring them back, and him and his buddies would go in his basement and fix them and then give them to the poor. Okay, that's what he did for many, many years, my grandpa.
That's cool.
And he would tell us, man, because I would always be like, Grandpa, because I was poor growing up, at least in Chicago. And I'd be like, Grandpa, do you have any extra ones? I want, we didn't have a TV. Give me a little black and white TV. I was a millionaire. But he would tell me that they had this stuff forever. They've had this stuff, these TVs, and even the color ones, forever. They've always had this stuff. It's just now the public it's being brought out to the public. And I know why. We all know why. CIA, I mean, all the tie-ins of programming, they had to do this. But again, I think that's why the indoctrination camps in schools were not really working to their benefit. They need to program us all that this is a new world now. And this is the way you're going to live, and you're going to pay taxes, and you're going to eat chemicals, and you're going to die of cancer at 60 or 70. And that's it. Don't question anything outside of that. And here's a few construction photos to keep you happy.
I 100% believe you're onto something. I think the timelines suck. Well, who do you think discovered America?
I think America was already here and built out. So in terms of discovery, again, I go back to some sort of event that took place, the way it looks. And I think that there's top hat type of people that stumbled upon this land and discovered it was just like the rest of the world, all built out and beautiful, and go, all right, let's just start claiming cities. Let's start taking down some of these stuff, building our own things. You can see some of this too, Johnny. Back in the day, you'll see these old world buildings, 1900 photo, and they're painting, church on it. Or they're carving in bank. Well, duh, dude, that's not your building. But yet, the bank's website will say, this was built in 1910. It took a year to finish. Construction company, NA. Architect, NA. Oh, okay. I'm
How
not
long do
buying
you think
that.
they were abandoned before those people got here? Because if we've seen anything, it's that buildings go to nature really quickly.
Not these, though. That's the crazy
That's my
part.
question, yeah.
That's the
Grizzly
crazy
bears.
part. Not these buildings, man. They're still, a lot of them are still here.
Do you think they were abandoned for a long time though before the top hat people got here?
I don't, man. I don't.
No, really?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit of time.
What took them out? If they were abandoned. You're talking like
Yeah, were they abandoned or did these
flood?
people die?
The flood.
Yeah, the flood. I mean, there's been, tales of multiple floods in the past 300-400 years. I'm kind of referencing kind of the most recent one, which
they
researchers led me
survived-
late 1700s.
Why would the top hat people survive that and the taller giant race?
This thing, we don't know where they lived at this time. For all we know,
But
again,
it's worldwide. This
they could have been
So
in a
worldwide.
continent 10,000 miles past Antarctica and
Oh, I see.
got an airship and came over. That's the thing. Once you look up airships too, you realize why they hijacked them. You know why? I mean, the industries and the airplanes and the charging tickets and all the money involved. But for me, man, airships, they went a lot faster than reported. You see a Goodyear blimp. That's all we get nowadays. We say, oh, look at this stupid thing in the sky. I can't believe fucking people travel down there. Yeah, do you know it went 3 times faster than that?
There are a lot
Did
of
you know they
accounts
could
of
fit 2,000-3,000 people inside? And a lot of these trips were free. They would hook up to the top of like an Empire State Building, all those buildings with those long antennas. They literally, I got video of it. So it's not fake. They come in and it's, I don't know if it's magnetic or something. It just kink and you're done. Everyone gets out. You walk down this clock tower and you go to your destination.
You said how many people?
Thousands can fit on there. Yep. They have restaurant full. Well, I'm saying if you just took everything out, gutted it. My bad. If you gutted it, you could fit 2,000 people.
And if
Sounds way better than
there's
a
this
plane.
crazy story called the
Way
mystery
better.
airship.
Way
Have you
better
heard
than
of
a
it?
plane.
And guess what it was? Guess what it worked off of? Helium.
And
And who owns helium now? Does anyone know?
And what's the
NASA owns all of it.
How many accidents happened before they were like, we can't fly like this anymore?
No. There was one
What's the
false
logic?
flag. There was one false flag. What's that? What I know Johnny knows this one. Not that he agrees with me with this false flag. What was that called? The airship that blew up?
Oh,
The German one?
The
or-
Hindenburg. The Hindenburg.
Yeah, it's a false flag.
Oh, the
Televised,
humanity.
photographed, guys. You know, this is when TVs were about to start coming out. Pretty soon, radio stuff. They're like, guys, we got to do something because people are going to be like, dude, where's our airships? Like all these old books of airships and travel and comfort and having your own restaurant inside of an airship, traveling around the world and back just over and over again for fun. Well, this is the way we should travel now. But
Now we
don't do it.
sit there and some lady comes by and asks you if you want snacks and a drink.
Well, make sure you gotta walk through the cancer machine too. Right? You gotta walk through. You gotta walk through. Oh man, opt out.
Dude, that looks
Yeah, the
so-
Germans were going into that really hard too, right?
This was a false flag to me, man. I'm sorry.
This technology.
There wasn't many ever many accidents with these machines, and the fact that they wanted to photograph and film it beautifully to show the public was to scare the public and to hope that the Wright brothers will be the saviors. Yeah.
That looks amazing. If that's like
Yeah,
how you,
yep.
if that's how you'd fly.
Well, that's what I mean. Those types of photos. I
You're
got
so
tons of them.
right.
They're
Look at that. Look at that.
Wasn't the Hindenburg after the Wright brothers? I think it was. Yeah, like by quite a. The
That's
Wright
my
brothers.
point. They're the saviors now. We got an airplane
Oh, I
coming.
got you.
We're
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah, we're good. We got an airplane
This was
coming.
and mostly Germany was pushing this tech, right?
Yeah, I think the
airship
again the
technology.
false flag. We don't know who actually constructed this false flag, but there's definitely a reason why they wanted everybody to go. Oh, dude, fuck I don't want to die. I'm not taking those. I'm gonna take the new airplane coming out and sit in line. Yeah.
Oh, that's why we don't use them.
Well, yeah, but again, that logo
Nazis,
was
but we
that
can't
logo
use them.
back in the day was not anything evil. So I mean, if you
Yeah, they
research
flipped
symbols and stuff.
everything.
Well, yeah, all mainstream does is flip everything, flip stories, flip
The
symbols.
story is so ridiculous.
I know, man.
The whole thing is just stupid.
Well, the thing is that I feel like with this film that I just started producing it. I just started shooting. I'm on this will be my third city now out of, I want to go to 10, including England. There's a lot to do in England, a lot of people to sit down with in England that know about this stuff. But, you know, I'll get there one step at a time. I'm going to Michelle Gibson's after this show's done, right to Arizona. She's got a lot of stuff to say. We had a lot of conversations before this. And she said basically, because she's in Prescott, Arizona, she said,
Oh, she's their family.
okay. She goes, Prescott is walkable. It's all mud flooded. She goes, we're gonna be walking. Bring your walking shoes. I'm like, okay. She goes, yeah, just get ready. Okay, I'm ready because for me, again, just from an architectural standpoint, just throw every conspiracy or theory out of the way. Architecturally, you bring any architect, modern day architect, to some of these old world sites, these buildings. What's going on here? They'll go, this is retarded. Nobody would design a building this way with a half door on the bottom, the windows coming up. It's mud flooded, guys. What I want to know. I don't think Johnny has anything. Usually he's got some devil advocacy in him. What's the official? Like, why would they build it that way?
I
want to
have
know
no
the
idea.
story.
I don't know. I would assume that was the only way to get light and ventilation in basement levels, or maybe the buildings have sunk. But that's the only possible thing I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay, but again, and I've never heard that. But would there be a reason that they only have muddy dirt roads but perfectly built buildings back then?
Yeah,
Thousands
I
of
don't. I
photos
mean,
of that.
I know that. What did they call it? There's a weird name for what they did to roads back then. It was like macadamization, I think, and before that, you know, it was mostly just dirt. And the Romans, of course, were the.
Yeah, I also have this. I know this is going to sound crazy, but you know, when you go through the Bible, you hear all these crazy stories about all people did this, they did that, and no, these are just parables or these are just myths
Or metaphors.
and metaphors. But I also think that it's definitely possible that the world was much different before the flood.
Much.
And the possibilities of what humans were were able to do is so far beyond what we understand now.
They're a lot taller, a lot stronger,
A
smarter.
lot mystical, a lot of mysticism back then that I think is possible. Whether you could part the Red Sea, I don't know, but I mean, it just seems like it was a different world. When I say that dinosaurs could be Nephilim, they could be dragons. Again, going back to Game of Thrones and stuff like that, they tell you these things.
Dragons, griffins. Griffins is the big one. Have you looked into griffins?
No.
Okay.
Eric Griffin?
No. No, and I think I just joke all the time with people, but I think that's why the Griffins and Family Guy were the Griffins, because this is when this information really started coming forward, when Family Guy was coming out.
So when you put out Griffins,
Griffin, you'll get this is a joke of mine.
No, that's what Kanye West 100% believes Black Panther was about.
I do agree with that.
Was it about burying the old?
That's how they do it.
The old group that fought back against racism.
And among the people who would be most likely to take that up, and carry that into the future, Black people. Now it's kind of replaced culturally in their mindset,
and they all think Wakanda's real and shit.
Yeah.
But for the audience,
they say same thing with Frozen.
Yes.
And Walt Disney.
Same
they
fucking
say the
thing.
Same thing with Frozen.
Disney Frozen. No more Walt Disney getting Frozen shit.
No more
Just
conspiracy
the new
about that.
cartoon. Yeah.
Doesn't even come up.
Oh, damn, bro. Mind blown, dude.
But for your audience that knows about griffins, Johnny, or actually, please pull this building up. It is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Is that a pair of pants?
It's Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and it is a insurance building. That's all I know of the name. I think National Insurance Building in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Try to pull that up and see if you got some nice photos, especially some photos zoomed in. There's griffins all over this old world building.
Is this it?
And this is in the middle of, yes. Where's the blue and yellow, though?
It's at the top right here.
Okay, yeah, if you click.
I don't know if that's going to be high enough resolution image. No, it's a small
No,
image.
it's not. I'm sure you'll find one soon. You can always go to Tools, Enlarge.
Yeah, that's
you know that. But here's the thing, for the audience, look at this building, dude. This was...
Oh, that's a painting.
There's griffins everywhere. They didn't cover it up. They didn't cover it up. This is an old world building in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, and they did not. I would say, I'm being honest here, Sam. I would say 99% of old world buildings that had griffins are destroyed. They don't want the griffin. They don't want. That's why Russia's flag is them stabbing a griffin. Did you know that? Because Russia was Tartary Empire. That's where they were. That's where the main hub was.
Yeah,
now it's Russia.
Yeah.
That's why Russia's flag is stabbing the griffin. Because they're saying, dude, we're here now. Fuck you guys. And the griffin represents everything about this to me. And you see it time and time again on old flags, old maps that have dragons drawn into it. And you're like, oh, that's a fantasy map. That's hilarious. That's cute. No, there's hundreds of cartographers back then with the same type of drawings. Dragons, mermaids. It's like, oh, we could laugh all we wanted it. For some reason, people are cool in society with dinosaurs without zero evidence.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Zero! Zero!
I was talking about that on stage. Like, evolutionary... Why does a T-Rex have tiny arms? Why? How does that help it survive? Everything's like you look at not a zebra, but a giraffe, right? A giraffe's neck is that long so it could eat the leaves up high. Evolutionarily, that makes sense, right? If you believe in that's why they do what they do. Dinosaur with tiny T-Rex like arms makes no effing sense. And then they always come up with something new to make you think they're doing research. Like, oh, dude, we discovered that the T-Rex actually moved at 200 miles an hour. You're like, how did you know that?
No, they do.
How do you know that?
And how they say it's supposed to roar like a lion.
And
they don't know how it sounded. They definitely do not know how it sounded.
My favorite is the notion in Jurassic Park that a T-Rex could only see you if you moved. Like, where do you get that from?
Yeah, I think they made that one up.
Yeah, I mean, but
made it all up, John.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
For that
You're right.
movie, I think.
Yeah,
they made
yeah.
that one up,
But
even
then
from
people
mainstream
take
science.
this shit
True.
and they just run with it as, oh, this is real stuff.
No, it's not. But you know what? And my research led me to believe. Finally, I like new understandings. You know, I want to keep learning and figure out the truth and figure out our lives and our history and everything else for the future. But I'll tell you, man, I'm sold now. There was giant animals and some of these petrified rocks you call mountains now. You see them frozen. They're I forgot. Oh man, I don't think we can find this. I can give it to you guys later. There's a frog that was jumping up, apparently during the flood, quick, and it petrified it midair. And it's somewhere. I just found this out yesterday, so I have no details. I shouldn't have brought it up.
What do you mean it petrified in midair?
Like you'll see. I mean, it's attached to other rocks, but it's a giant frog jumping in midair. There's people kissing, holding each other right before they died because they saw something coming up, and they're like, "Fuck, we're dead."
Vesuvius
and they're frozen there. They're just like this kissing. You see the face and the hands. You see animals. You see there's certain plots of land that when you bring a drone up all the way up to the firmament and look down and go, dude, trace that. That looks like a giant whale, but yet we call that an island. No. It's not an island.
Okay, what do you think about the Grand Canyon? They say there's a lot of giants there. Are you planning on going there? Is that one of your stops?
No, the Grand Canyon is not one of my stops. You know what? To be honest, again, as a filmmaker, this is a new category, new topic for me, and I'm loving every minute of it. Okay, because the truth is, it just blows my mind. But things like that, I haven't attached yet. You know, that's all. I haven't talked to anyone about Grand Canyon or what do you think that's going on there. Maybe I should.
Dude,
because
there's hieroglyphics. Is that how you pronounce it?
Hieroglyphics. Yeah.
Hieroglyphics all over it. All over it. And what they want you to believe is that an iceberg slowly moved through there and carved that thing out.
Ooh.
And that's why we have this giant Grand Canyon. And we're just like, dude,
I don't think an iceberg did the Grand Canyon. I think it was the Rio Grande. I think.
Okay.
No,
I thought that
a huge iceberg melted, and that water
yes.
is what created the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, come on.
That's
and like
That's
tectonic
literally-
plates.
I didn't even know.
I think
That's
is.
hilarious.
I think
You
it's
didn't know-
I think it's tectonic shit.
Do you believe in tectonic plates?
Yes. In a sense, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert in them, but I would agree that there's something underneath the earth. Again, plates aren't curved, guys. So in the word there, it's a plate. It's flat.
That's what we eat out of.
Oh, interesting.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just the truth too. I mean, it's not tectonic balls, right? Tectonic plates.
Did you hear that Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Brown
that's a good win.
was like, the
AJ
earth
Brown.
is flat.
Yeah, but they're going to be coming again. The Earth being the Earth is flat is kind of a hijacked term now. But the Earth just being what it is, a stationary plane, we're not moving. That's going to be pretty common in our lifetime. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be common because the war that's going on right now. I don't mean the war on the news. I mean the war in our spiritual lives, and the war that's been going on for a long time now is going to be ending. Period. Doesn't matter if you like it or don't like it. If you like this side or that side.
What do you mean by ending?
In my opinion, it's going to be ending. Well, we're coming into the age of Aquarius. We're coming into something now where we all feel it. Why has the truth been coming out so rapidly in the last 10 years? It's because it has to. That's the only reason. We all have to unplug from the matrix, and we are all unplugging. The ones that are going to be staying plugged in, they're not going to make it for multiple reasons I don't want to go down. They're not going to make it. And we know people of that nature. They're not going to make it. It's just what it is. For me, I have to accept that and keep marching as a soldier. I have to keep marching. I can't look and go, oh man, what about these people? I need to help them. No, what I need to do, my call it a niche market in terms of why I make films. It's not for the neighbor with your face mask on. It's not for him at all. I don't want you to tell him at this point. A couple years ago, I would have been screaming at you, tell him. But now, fuck him. I'm sick of him. And I'm sick of all of them like that because they're the ones that are allowing these things to happen to our children. These are the ones that are allowing these lies to be still taught to our children and the fucking of our children and stealing and raping them. It's their people. Because people like us, if everyone thought like us skeptically and said, dude, fuck these motherfuckers, they're done tomorrow. But it's the masses that are being controlled in this matrix that they're just not going to make it, man. Just like the last reset. Not everybody made it. Okay? But for me, if you're vibrating high, if you have that soldier of God in you and you know that you're being protected at all times, you're going to be here. We're going to be here. We're going to last. And I do feel like it's coming soon, guys. I really do. It's something in my dreams, in my mind, my thought. But I don't mean this in a fear-mongering way. If anything, I'm trying to be the opposite here, that heaven on earth can come here again. And I think that with some organizations I've talked to, I don't want to release their names or what they're doing for multiple reasons, but this old world structure, the way they lived, is already being reverse engineered again. They're finding out ways to do the same stuff they did in the same type of buildings. They're finding out how to do it. And that gives me hope. That gives me promise for the future of we're going to get this right. We're going to get this done to where we can have the world that we want and still do what we want to do in the world. Look at the shift in the last 10 years of all of our lives. Period. Everyone has shifted their lives unless you're an NPC. I blame it on that that's not what I really think of them, but I'm just saying it for the audience sake. Unless you're them, yeah, your life's never changed. You got CNN in the morning, you eat your turkey sandwich at noon, you clock out at 5, you go home, play your video game, go to bed, do it again. Then the weekend you party and get drunk. That's their life, okay? No one's doing that really that much anymore, right? Like we're trying to figure this world out for our future, for the children of the future, and the old world itself is going to set the tone. That was the type of world that everyone would want to live in. We need to get it back. And we know how to, I'm not going to say we, I'm not involved yet, but people know how to get that back. People know how to reverse engineer these organs and these energy harvesting to heal us again. They're working on it right now. So whatever these bankers and Jesuits and Masons and all these people that are out there trying to, we just want to kill everyone. Dude, you're fucking failing. And not only that, you're failing miserably. And not only are you pieces of shit, but you're failing miserably and you're being exposed daily. To me, that's losing a war, in my opinion.
I agree. Real quick.
Yeah.
So do you think that there was a war between Tataria and Khazarians, and the Tatarians lost? I mean, because right now,
I don't rule it out.
It's very interesting watching people on Instagram and YouTube try to debunk Khazaria. They're just like, it wasn't real. They're saying it wasn't real. It never happened. They never, ever converted to Judaism. And there's so many facts that back that up. Old maps, storylines.
What, the old maps that say
Khazaria?
Yeah, on it. Yeah. No, look, man, for
Tataria.
Of course, there's tons too. For me, maps, I'm not a map guy per se. There's so many and I don't know who to trust, but at the same time, it's all there. The names are there. You know what's not there before, I think 45. You know what name you won't see on a map before 19? I think 40, give or take, is the state of Israel. It's not on there. It's not written in there on any map.
It's
just weird. That's all. It's weird that again,
not weird
we're talking about our history in the sense of they could just put something on a map and be like, that's what it was.
No,
so
that's literally what they did. They said, here's in the 40s. They were like, this is Israel now.
This is Israel now, and then now it's getting bigger.
Now you get into this fight on who was there, blah, blah, blah. And if you get into Abraham religions, God promises Abraham that land. There was somebody there. Now God is, I'm a disciple of Christianity. I follow Jesus, God in my heart, God above all gods. So, I'm with that, but that argument right there is the end of that discussion. And so I don't know.
What do you mean? Like when it comes, when one side or both sides believe that the land is God given, there's no deciphering that for them,
Well, I mean, like it's in the Bible. Yeah, I mean, if you're going based off Abrahamic religions, which is what Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are, then you have to believe in the story of Abraham.
I'm saying, are you saying that ends it for you, or are you saying that they're never going to compromise because they both believe that?
Well, I mean, the argument of who was there first, I think is solved.
Right, but do you think that matters? Like, who was there first?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter to anybody because they're not really having the discussion. They're just yelling that out. Oh, man, this is our land, blah, blah. And everybody.
Right, but I mean, if somebody that came, I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
no, I agree.
I've heard. I mean, I might be wrong because I haven't read it, but they say that when he met Israel, he meant the people, not the land. That's where the Muslims
that's definitely like, that. Now we're getting into interpretation, which I'm open-minded to.
That's what the Muslims,
and I would invite anybody on here to come and have this discussion with us because I'm totally open-minded to it. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to get to the center of this Tootsie Pop, okay?
No, probably not.
It's fraught, man. It's a tough one.
I just don't think you can do it. I think there's just been so much layers
lies and
of manipulation. And at the end of the day, it's like you have Jesus in your heart. You got to have one God. You follow the commandments. And then there's, That's all I can do right now. I'm not gonna. I would like to.
You're doing more than that, Sam.
Well,
you got a voice. Thank
you. I'm trying. I'm trying. I believe. I'm trying my hardest. Conspiracy always leads to spirituality, so I'm trying my hardest to follow that and be in that and be in God's glory and love all that stuff because it makes me a happier person. Okay, it makes me a happier person, but. The way there's people that just want to bring on the end of days and just they're okay with what's going on. It just gets me weirded out, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And I am anti-war, which means I'm pro Jew and pro-Palestinian. I don't want any of them to die.
Especially these innocent families. None of these innocent families, just like in Afghanistan, same.
Yeah.
I didn't want that either. No one that is sitting there eating their meal that did nothing wrong should be blown up or there's heads cut off.
They have a picture
no one should do that.
of a video of families dealing with the trauma in a hospital of being blown up, and there's a baby against the wall. Nobody's holding the baby, and the baby has diapers on, and it's dirty and it's crying. And I go, my kids aren't far away from that, like that age. Like that to me is like that should never happen. I don't understand how people can accept that. And so the answer is so are you pro Hamas? Dude, Hamas, just like ISIS, just like Al Qaeda, takes money from their oppressors to be controlled opposition, and they set their people up for death and destruction. Okay? So I am not pro Hamas because they are anti-Palestinian. They are anti-Arab. They're anti-Islam. They are taking money to allow their own people to be slaughtered. It is no different than any controlled opposition in America as well. Why do I hate our politicians? Because they sell us out left and fucking right. So that's where I am on that. I am pro-humanity. Like death and destruction. And now we get this people coming out about oil rights outside of Gaza and a pipe, what's it called? A canal that they think is going to go through part of, I don't know what part of Gaza, but ends up at the sea. So I'm getting, and before you say poo-poo on that, okay, before you shit on that story, just know the whole Syrian conflict was about getting a pipeline that could go from Qatar to the Baltic Sea that had to go through Syria. So they had to take that land. They had to take that land, and the U.S. has already given Israel the rights to that land, and then Israel gave the rights to that land to Halliburton.
Do you believe the oil story though? Because we've had people tell us that oil is just a ruse. It's a red.
I do believe it's a ruse, but that canal is a real story because Egypt's getting all that money right now, controlling that commerce. And I've said this before that when you study the man. By the way, before you start even getting into and no one on this show that listens to the show ever says this, so I just want to be honest with you. But the man who created Zionism was an atheist. So just so you know, so it has nothing to do with religion, okay? And if you ask me, it's all about controlling that trade route.
Wait, is that Theodore Herzl? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah,
Herzl?
the guy who started, who
had to read that book in college. It's incredibly boring.
I'm buying all these books and reading it.
A lot of Zionists nowadays, I call them fake Jews. They're hiding behind it.
Well, I mean, not all Zionists are
else.
Jewish, not all Jews are Zionists.
That's my point. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
And they're trying to
But I'm talking about the people
two.
in power that say, oh, yeah, we're Jewish. No, you're not. No, you're not. To me, no, they're not. The ones the evil power ones that hide behind that, I don't think they are. I think they're standing behind that so they can go ahead and do whatever they want to do.
I think it's the black Israelites that are the real
There you
Jews.
go.
I think Armenians are lost tribes, dog. Lost tribes.
Yeah, they're really lost.
Shut up.
What's going on in Armenia nowadays? Anything?
Well, Azerbaijan is bombing the fuck out of Armenia, and I can't get anyone to come on the show to talk about it. No. I hit up people, I go, come on, and they hear the name tinfoil hat, and they think like, we're crazy. Just so you know that we've done shows on the Armenian genocide, and it was shared in the Armenian community, and they're like, we didn't even know this.
Really?
So like people... Wow. There's a lot of people that look at the name and get ran off, but they don't understand the name was done on purpose so that when you call stupid conspiracy theorists, we don't freak out and we don't care. names. Nah. We don't care about names here. But we have like this show's killing it right now. For 7 years in which we're completely shadow banned everywhere, it's killing it. It's killing it. So, I mean, like, I don't know why no one will come on this show and talk about it. I want to talk about what Azerbaijan is doing. And I'm sorry to everybody. And I have a lot of Jewish friends that I really love. But Israel is sending fucking nasty weapons, selling nasty weapons to Azerbaijan to use against the Armenians. And let's just also talk about how Israel never, ever, ever recognized the Armenian genocide. Because when you study Khazarians, when they go far enough back, they are Turkish. That's why the Rothschilds are Khazarians. That's why they never recognized the Armenian genocide, because the Turks, and then you can get into the Bolshevik War and who's really behind that and all that crazy shit.
Are you saying they lie about history?
I mean, the whole thing is just the biggest fucking lie on planet Earth.
It's all lies.
So funny though, you can't get a word in the news about Armenia, but I mean,
The
this
only
Israel
guy
thing
talking about is Vivek or whatever.
Vivek, yeah,
Vivek,
yeah.
and he's like the only one. He keeps shouting it and nobody cares.
So speaking of news, when's the last time you heard anything about Maui? That's our own fucking state.
Yep.
And no one says a damn thing
Yep.
about them.
I'm
They're
glad-
just sitting there
It's just
homeless. They're
memory
like,
hold.
yeah, Israel, yeah.
Just
I mean, it's
memory hold.
But I am glad no Ukraine though. Where we or is it, are we had a
Dude, have you seen that video
Oh yeah.
of him just going, you send us money, but you don't send us money. You give us credit, and we'll pay you back when we're done.
Who are you doing?
Zelensky?
Papa John's? Or? Okay.
Oh, Zelensky.
Zelensky, and it sounds like he's begging his coke dealer for more blow.
There's something to that guy, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
Is he an actor? Maybe There's
Ukraine
something-
is
was an actor,
Khazarians.
Well, that makes
he was
sense.
a-
Never
he was
mind.
and dude, if I was him, first thing I would do is like wrap it up, get on a plane, head to Israel, and chill out. Because, dude, when you're done, you're done.
Dude, yeah, it's so clear.
When
The only
they're-
reason he's alive now is because, dude, Russia could have taken him out like day one if they
Right.
wanted. They take people
It's-
out anywhere and everywhere.
And they're friends with him.
It's
Exactly.
a,
Doors,
exactly.
behind
that's
closed
what I'm
doors.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
money laundering scheme, and they're not money laundering your taxes. What they're money laundering is the money that the Fed prints that you pay interest on. That's what's money laundering. They're not taking your tax dollars and sending it to Ukraine. They're sending fake Fed money to a small pinch to the Ukraine. The rest of it's going to Raytheon, to fucking Boeing, to all these to keep their stock price up and just make them all rich. And then where American people are paying off the interest on that loan. Nobody knows how it works. And that's going back to what we're talking about, how stupid everybody is. They want you dumb so you don't realize that they have completely and utterly hijacked this nation through our centralized bank, and they use our sons and daughters as stormtroopers for the fucking international military-industrial complex death cult. That's it. They don't want you paying attention to it.
No, and that's why everything's so confusing. They make sure that everything that you want, let me look into something. You'll be confused every fucking time if you're just going blind into researching something nowadays. The algorithms they've changed. They've done everything to make sure that if someone's trying to wake up nowadays, good luck. You got to know someone like us to even have the conversation, because you can't find it on your own. Even 2014, you type in flat earth, you get all the good stuff, right? That changed my life because it's all real good stuff. Now it's the same 30 results. BBC, NBC.
I know everybody.
The algorithm's fucked. So you can't search and research anything nowadays that you talk about because they control it. So we need to come up with some sort of system or platform on our own that will allow this stuff, man.
Everybody always says they lived during the greatest time ever. But I'm going to tell you, man, my generation was blessed to get the best of entertainment. I got the 70s movies. I got the 80s, the late 80s, early 90s
Action
music.
movies especially.
Before they came and the Clintons fucking merged all the media, okay? And then I got the internet when it was really free. And
yeah, the Netgear, Netscape. Remember the disc you put
Yeah.
in? And then it was I don't even know how it worked, man.
I think what you're seeing happening right now with X and Rumble, there is a race to bring in all of the people that built up the internet and built up YouTube. YouTube was built on the backs of conspiracy videos.
I'm sure.
That's why everyone went there to go watch Loose Change, all this shit. And once it got huge, it got everybody captured, then you start to censor.
So you think other companies are gonna follow that suit?
Well, they're going to build
Or
it up.
the other way
Then they're going to get. What I think happens, bro, is they build up a brand, and then when it gets to a point where everyone's going, "What the fuck?" They are like tech companies are like women, right? Women, when they're done with a relationship, they've already started another relationship. They already have it lapped. So when you study like let's say MySpace versus Facebook, right? You get this really big, everyone starts getting, oh my God, this is crazy. And then we could go to Hot Asian Chicks fucking page where they got all this music playing and your girlfriend's like, what are you watching? You're like, nothing, right? So once Tom was like, I'm not gonna give you my data, right? We're not giving the data. They're like, oh, here's Facebook. And everyone jumps to Facebook, right? Exactly. So Facebook fucking crashes and burns, right? I mean, grows up and now it's, and Facebook, MySpace crashes and burns. Nice. Take a look at like what they're going to do with YouTube, what they did with Pornhub. Pornhub got big, man. Pornhub got really big. And then now all this crazy shit's coming out. And what's sitting there? OnlyFans. And OnlyFans is way crazier than Pornhub because OnlyFans, your secretary, your neighbor, now all these women are now they're porn stars. It isn't just like outlaw chicks born to shitty ass lives trying to figure out a way
to. It could be you, the viewer. Yeah. Right? You could be a porn star tomorrow.
I forget the comic's name, but he does a funny joke about how your secretary, now you can watch her shove fucking Hot Wheels up her asshole, right?
Jesus.
So my humble opinion is they're going to do that with YouTube. YouTube's going to go down and Rumble's going to take its place. Once it gets too fucking nuts and people start calling out for its bullshit, they implode it and then they have another thing that everyone runs to and then they'll implode that.
So you think they're going to try to control Rumble beforehand?
No, they're going to blow up Rumble, make it seem Wild West,
and then
when
censoring?
Everyone's there, then they'll start to fuck.
So you think YouTube would just become like another TV, like TV, because they're TV now.
Oh yeah,
you can watch.
I mean,
TV
dude,
on there.
it's CIA. It's so embedded in all of our lives, and it's like I don't care who you are, you'll never get to YouTube's level until and when you start seeing Rumble have kids programming. That's when you know they're going to make a run for it.
Yep. And there's promotion and mainstream type of promotion for a new show coming to Rumble. That's going to be scary,
Rogan
man.
Could be the beginning of that.
Well,
he's I mean, I don't know. There's all this talk about whether Spotify is going to pick up his new thing, which is pick up the show for another contract, which would let you know that it's never about business ever. No. Because why would you ever let the number one brand in talking leave? There's no reason to let it leave.
So many people in their ears saying, fucking let him go, dude. He's saying a lot of shit, right?
Well, no, the powers that be are like, hey, dude.
But what if he's asking for a lot of money?
Doesn't matter. He made them so much cash. If he gets anything less than $1 billion, he's not getting paid right. Yeah. That dude deserves $1 billion. Spotify became something because Joe Rogan went over there. I mean, before that, everyone was listening to Pandora. Everyone was listening to what was the other?
I mean, I'll be honest. I used to listen to the Apple's podcast app. I don't go there no more.
Yeah.
Spotify, all of them. I just transferred all my favorite podcasts that were on that podcast app over to Spotify because I was like, I'm here for Rogan, and Rogan's the only one that's not on that app.
Now he's gonna go.
Yeah, but Sam, to play devil's advocate, what if this shift in Joe? Just say Joe went to Rumble. Okay, Joe goes to Rumble. I think that's an opportunity for someone like Joe and others to follow him in the sense of taking back power now. There is no more. I'm not saying Spotify, there's something in the contract saying you can't talk about this or you got to watch yourself here. I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know Spotify. But I think in Rumble, what an uncensored platform it's been so far, no?
100%.
Pretty uncensored.
It has
so I
to
think
be.
Joe could set the tone for the future on Rumble, meaning, hey, there's going to be no censoring on here forever now. And we could talk about, maybe he could have different guests now that maybe he couldn't have before.
I don't think anybody tells Rogan what he can and cannot have on. I've had conversations with him about it.
That's why I said maybe.
But
maybe.
But if you're asking me, Rogan people always like, he should just go do his own thing. I go, well, the problem with that in my humble opinion, is like now it's easier for them to choke you off.
Oh yeah.
Right? So he has to have somebody like a Rumble or an X that's a giant brand that deals in that atmosphere. Right? So Spotify is like in that world. So they're banging with everybody. So it's harder to choke him off. But if he goes indie with what they did to fucking Alex Jones, they can choke you right off and make it impossible for you to find it. But if you have a giant brand in which everybody's already invested in stock-wise, it's a lot harder to choke you off.
So what's your opinion? You think he'll resign or leave?
Well,
what's your opinion? No one knows.
No, I mean, like, I would think it would be stupid for Spotify to let him go, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did because of pressure.
Yeah.
And then you run him over. Then he goes to Twitter. I think Twitter's biggest problem is that videos get lost in the feed. They have to figure out a way to have videos and your feed going. So if I post a video, it doesn't get like buried in like
You got to repin it now and all this shit. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So they have to figure that out. Well, it's even if it's repinned. It's just like once it's in that feed of all the people you follow, it just gets buried. So it has to figure out how to.
But has that been that way forever? Is that always how? I'm not a Twitter guy, really.
No, he's trying to become like the everything app, which is very dangerous in itself. You know? It's very dangerous. All right. I've had a wonderful, this has been always a pleasure to have you on. Sean, you're one of the best.
Thank you.
One more time, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can always find me at HibbelerProductions.com. I'm also on Rockfin. I do have a new show now on Movies Plus. We live stream every Thursday night. It's called We Are the World podcast. It's with Joel Bauman, King Bao, Bryce Mitchell, and BJ Penn. So we teamed up and we're rocking it out every Thursday night. We're trying a new platform out. You know, Movies Plus. They're great people. So we're trying to bring the podcast scene. We're trying to be the OGs of this and keep it going. And it's working out well so far. But anyone that's involved in this Tartaria, this old world, this rabbit hole that wants this exposed, knows what I'm talking about, even knows what griffins are, please go to owofilm.com. Even $1 will help. I need to get more trips done. Dr. Narcolongo will be after Michelle Gibson, but I just, got to wait till I get.
Great.
Yeah, but I want to go to Florida. I want to go to England. So if you guys want me to do that, especially my audience listening, please help out and you will not be let down. And like I do with every fundraiser, if you donate $10 or more, you get the film for free when it comes out in 4K. And if you donate $20 or more, you get Old World Order for free, you get Level With Me for free, and you get Fluvid-19 for free within 24 hours of when the film's out. Sorry, the film's got to be out first. You can't get it if it's not done, but as soon as it comes out.
Don't forget to mention your Maui one. That was great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go to YouTube for
one.
free. It's on YouTube, Rockfin, and Rumble. It's called Maui in 15. Actually, last week's show on We Are the World podcast on Movies Plus, BJ Penn never saw it, and we premiered it with him live on the air. And just go watch that show because BJ Penn knows a lot of these politicians' names that I'm exposing, and he says some stuff I don't even want to repeat. It's crazy shit.
Well, I want to say something to you. I think you should have on the guys that we had talking about weather manipulation.
Yeah.
Because I think that you would really enjoy what they have to say. That it's even that the technology is so. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, please.
The technology is so beyond direct energy weapons that doesn't even matter. Yeah. Like everyone thinks they're hitting with lasers. They can manipulate the energy.
I'm sure, man.
in the atmosphere to cause chaos, and they can manipulate it in such a way that they can get specific with what it's taking out.
Yes. That's the point. And I don't know if you saw Maui in 15, Sam. I'm sure you know of this or seen this before anyways, but with the color blue, with this laser, this frequency, that doesn't burn blue, it just blows my mind, man. That there, not only is that there's a laser exists that can torch a building, but if there's blue anywhere, it just passes it over. Is mind blowing.
What's the logic between the blue that it's a chemical reaction? It doesn't do blue, or is there?
I'm deep into that, man. I don't have
blue so that I paint my house blue and my house doesn't get blasted by the laser.
That could be it, of course. That seems like a common thing. I'm always over here usually with it. I look at it as our firmament. Our creator knew what man is capable of. Okay. And especially with lasers that can torch cities, but not the color blue. So you're not going to get through the firmament, no matter, or penetrate the bottom of the ocean. No one's ever done it either. So you can't get up, can't get down. What color is both? Blue. So if the laser, trust me, because with Operation Dominic and them trying to send rockets or bombs straight up to break open our sky, and they couldn't do it, they have tried everything. And my point is, if they shot a laser up there and it didn't penetrate it, but it penetrates everything else, I think they would know based off that I guess blue's the only one. Blue would be the only color because our creator would not allow someone to pierce through it. That's all.
When you watch those rockets that Tesla sends up, it looks like something scraping on something, dude.
Yeah,
it does. I saw one over LA a couple weeks ago.
It just looks weird, like
man.
it's
Did it look like there was water above?
Yeah, it always does.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why I really focus on that and level.
What I find hilarious is that people are okay with the Van Allen belt, but not the firmament. And even religious people. I've had guys who are just straight up Bible thumpers that won't believe in the firmament, but they're cool with the Van Allen belt. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're okay with dinosaurs, but not Nephilim giants. What are you talking about?
Evidence of one, none of the other.
Okay.
This is the world we live in. Thank you all. Thank you, Swarm. Love you all.
Okay, guys, again, go check out chaostwins.com. That's chaostwins.com. Join the Chaos Army of Chaos. We're almost to our second level of our goals, and we're just going to keep going. Our next goal is 5,000, so we're $750 away from that. We're just gonna keep going. We're so thankful that you guys are doing it. Again, check out our affiliates. Check out my dates. Go to SamTripoli.com. We'll go from there. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Hibbeler. Thank you, both of you guys. Enjoy the highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Man brought guns, IEDs, those are improvised explosive devices, to Colorado amusement park before dying by suicide. And he wrote on the bathroom in the amusement park wall, the wall of the bathroom in the amusement park, "I am not a killer," before killing himself. Now, explain what you said on social, because I think this really does sound like what you said, what you thought it was.
That maybe he was under MK Ultra, and his soul and his mind overran, or what's the word?
Fought it.
Fought it. And deprogrammed himself and decided he didn't want to do it and killed himself. If that's even a story, we don't even know how much of this is real.
We don't know that yet, but damn, it really is. It's damn curious. Authorities are investigating why a heavily armed and armored Colorado man with explosives stashed in his car broke into a closed amusement park bathroom and scrawled, "I am not a killer," on the wall before shooting himself. The Garfield County Coroner's Office said Diego Barajas Medina, 20, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound on October 28th after breaking into the women's bathroom at the Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park. Park workers found his body during a routine morning check, and police found his nearby car loaded with explosives. Investigators say he had both real and fake explosives and other IEDs in his car. They say he was wearing body armor and tactical clothing bearing patches similar to what law enforcement wears. Now, how similar does that sound to what we've seen? These patterns of these people walking in with body armor,
Johnny,
military,
it's what those two guys said on tinfoil hat. I think they sent out a giant wave, like brainwashing wave, and whoever catches and manipulates, that they react. I think it's like this sonar wave that they try to catch vulnerable people.
Yeah, and this is why he didn't go at the right time, is because he was fighting it. He knew he had to go to this place and he had to collect all this shit.
Yeah.
And that's why some of the explosives are maybe fake, because he's like this whole time trying to fight, and then he
he overrides the programming.
And he knows the only way to stop it is to stop himself.
Yeah. That's why I believe.
Very, very interesting story there. I can't wait to hear more about that. We'll try to keep an eye on it. Here's that little clip of video of Netanyahu bragging about turning all of Israel into a lab for Pfizer.
First, I described that in my book, My Conversations with Albert Bourla, Pfizer, and I persuaded him to give tiny Israel the necessary vaccines to get us out first from the COVID. And the reason I could do that is because we have a database. 98% a medical database. 98% of our population has digitized medical records and little card. And anywhere you go in any hospital in Israel, boom, you punch it in.
Our
And
future.
you know everything about this patient for the last 20 years.
That's our future.
I said, we'll use that to tell you whether these vaccines, what do they do to people, not individual people, not with their individual identities, but statistically, what does it do to people with, with meningitis? What does it do to people with high blood pressure? What is it? You want to know that. So Israel became, if you will, the lab for Pfizer.
He's bragging.
And that's how we did it. We got out that we gave the information to the world.
Just think about that. Now stop.
We came out of COVID first. I described that in my.
Now he's lying. He didn't come out COVID first. I don't even know if what he gave them was actual, the actual. I don't know what's real of this story. Did they actually give them the actual vaccine? Did they give them placebo? Is the data real? But let's just say, for instance, it is real. Like
is real.
Let's just say, is real. There we go. There we go. Like, how is this any different than what Trump says? And like,
it's not.
It's the exact.
Well, except he didn't turn the entire country into. I mean, not the whole country. I mean, this guy literally, his entire country sold it over at the very beginning.
Dude,
this reminds me of that scene from The Big Short where those guys down in Florida are explaining how they signed up strippers to these home mortgages that they couldn't afford, and the guy walks over and he's like, "Why are they confessing?" And they go, "They're not confessing. They're bragging." That's what he's doing. He's bragging about this. Like, this is a great thing.
Yeah.
It's this whole thing just knocked me out. He's like, yeah,
I mean, the guy brags about everything. And it's just like, he's at an age where he doesn't realize these videos come back and bite him in the ass. It's like unbelievable to me.
I mean, and my question coming out of this was, is this our future? This whole digitized records where you just have a thing like a card or a computer chip possibly implanted in your arm that has everything about you on it, so they know. And he's like, careful it's anonymous information.
Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about a couple things you can find on the website, SamTripoli.com. It's everything you need, audio, video, all there of all my podcasts across the board. You can also get my dates there. You can also get t-shirts there. We are adding t-shirts all the time. We just added a more de-essing, less bombing. I love that one, okay? We also got Yahweh or the Highway new shirts are there. They should be up. It's a great way to support the show. Grab your t-shirts now. I got more magic coming. I also have a mental gymnastics one everyone's going to really like. Listen, if you want to support the show, rockfin.com, $15. You get all my shows across all the boards. We also have Cash Daddies, patreon.com/Cash Daddies. Great way to make money in these difficult markets. We also have some affiliates. I'm going to hit them out real quick. If you're looking for gold and silver, a great way to go to Wise Wolf. Click the banner. Hydrogen brown gas. Everyone loves it. Harley Ray, our good friends in Candles and Crystals. You can use the promo code SWARM15. Click that one. And Tim James, who was just on the show, universally loved. You can get a discount on all of his stuff on his website, Chemical Free Body. And then finally, Joel Staley, who's going to help me lose weight and get ready to rock. All those there. Click the banners. Support them. Support us. It's a great way. And all my audio, all my video, again, right there at SamTripoli.com. Enjoy the highlights.
And now, a highlight from Cash Daddies.
No, man, we banked a bunch of fatties. We got dry powder right now. Fingers not quite on the trigger, waiting on a few things. Looking at a couple small mid-cap stocks. Still like Oxy right here, like oil and energy. I do think some of these tech stocks that jumped up crazy last week, like Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon, Baba, I think they will probably retreat, and we'll be ready to bank again. So Johnny, you saw it with your own eyes. It was a profitable week.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially, I mean, Uber and Morgan Stanley. Those are the moves I went biggest on, and they both were, big success.
I'm hoping Uber actually drops because I'll actually buy more. I'm so confident going forward. Somebody asked today about, who do you like as far as a small mid-cap stock? And I'm like, you got to have Uber in your IRA. You got to have it because in 20 years, that's one that you might see 5 or 6X because they're getting their hands in everything now. everything.
Yeah, and then they finally become too big to be threatened by any kind of one setback in a market. You know, like say the regulations were to change somewhere or something. It's not enough to kind of destroy their business now that they're everywhere. You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's solid.
Because it used to be like with Uber, right? Like if they in New York, you know, the cabbies like push through some legislation to ban Uber or something, you know what I mean? That would devastate their business. But now I feel like they're kind of beyond. They got lobbyists and shit, you know. That's a real company.
In New York,
They got lobbyists and shit, dog.
It's done with in New York. The yellow cabs are Ubers. The yellow cabs are Ubers. Like
what? If they bought Uber?
Hell, if you call an Uber, you might have a yellow cab pull up, dog. That's the way it is.
Right
yellow cabs are Ubers now. There's no more medallions.
They saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta wave the white flag.
Yeah, it's over with, man. I mean, Uber is here.
Well, that was a scam anyway. That whole medallion system, what a scam that was. Just to wait for the government to rip people off.
Buy a nice medallion for $1.5 million, and then after the pandemic, they were all worth about $200,000. It's unbelievable.
Stupid. It's just another example of people
Here's
getting
a
ripped off.
question I have. Speaking of money in sports, somebody explain to me this new TGL golf league.
Yeah,
because
interesting.
this shit's like the NBA. Like you got guys with billions of dollars buying teams, San Francisco, New York. And evidently Tiger Woods and this McIlroy started this league, and it's like an NFL, MLB, NBA league. Johnny, is this golf? They're saying it's indoors?
Yeah, it's a lot of it seems to be like on a simulator is what I've tried to find good pictures.
That's what it sounded like.
But it seems like a lot of it's going to be on simulators. Yeah. And it's, you know, they're going to have like team setups and different challenges and stuff. There are some, like, if you look in this arena it's in, there are some like sand traps and, you know, little pieces of a course. But most of it looks like it's on this giant simulator, which just looks.
So what? This is team golf now?
LA is going to have a team. New York's going to have a team. Detroit, Chicago, they're all going to have teams.
I like the part of the Ryder Cup where they can yell at each other. Their fans can get involved and scream. It's like enough of this gentleman bullshit. Let's just go, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, that's why that event in Arizona is so popular, right?
I've been saying this for years. Look, man, it started with me. A buddy of mine and a buddy, he was the principal of a high school. He had a little too much to drink when we went to the PGA Tour down.
How many M-bombs did he say?
No, it was
not a lot of ends at the PGA Tour, Sam. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, Carlos Franco, famous golfer. I want to say he's from Spain, but he was 4 feet away from us. And PGA Tour in Jacksonville, they allow you to bring in coolers. You're allowed to bring in beers. And so Carlos was in his backswing right here, and my buddy shit his pants so loud it was like a foghorn went off. Like everybody within 30 feet heard it. And this dude, Carlos Franco, shanked it so bad into the woods. He turned around, and I thought he was going to swing the club at somebody's head. He was like, "Who fuck did that? Who fuck did shit? Who fired it?" And dude, I laughed for 30 minutes. I had tears coming out of my eyes.
How can you stop yourself from farting? I mean, I get it being mad, but like, what are you gonna do? Like,
dude,
that's so funny, dude.
Imagine farted, during his back
fart. Imagine shanking because of a fart.
Yeah, everybody blamed me. I didn't even do it, and we had to leave. We had to leave right after that. But you know, look,
time to go.
Look, you're golfing. You can heckle in every sport. Basketball, guys on the free throw line. You can say anything you want about his mother. You know, football, you can heckle the whole game. Baseball, how come golf bullshit? You should be able to go nuts.
I can give you a little info about it. It's going to be real grass inside SoFi Center at Palm Beach State College in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. It's a football field-sized playing area that includes a massive green complex and real golf shots without a screen inside 50 yards. So if it's inside 50 yards, they're doing real golf shots, which is, you know, not a ton of shots, but, you know, the last few shots. Instead, let's see. Putts don't seem to register right on a simulator, and everything smells like stale Coors Light, according to this. So they're doing real putting. Instead, though, they're going to have, for the rest of it, a 64, this is written like gobbledygook, 64 feet wide and 46 feet high simulator screen. That's 20 times the size of a typical simulator. It's just massive. It's like it's like bigger than a movie theater screen. It's huge.
Well, the thing that blows my mind about it is they're mentioning the business guys that are getting involved with this, and I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars. The dude that they had a guy that runs a hedge fund or whatever, and he bought I want to say the San Francisco franchise. And they said, "What'd you pay for it?" And he said, "Under $100 million." So
damn.
It's going to be interesting, man, because this is serious business.
It's also going to be match play, which I like that. So that adds some fun.
Dude, listen, man. I don't believe any of the official story 9/11. None of it. So the question is, because we're getting into Saudi money, right? Like we're discussing Saudi money and whether we should be cool to Saudis.
Yeah.
I don't believe that story of 9/11. I don't believe any of it. I don't think those hijackers on that plane. So that's a whole different story. So I have zero problems with like the Saudis coming in and buying up all of boxing. You have people getting so angry, like, "Oh my God, the Saudi! You want them to buy everything?" Now, maybe our football teams, maybe our basketball teams, that might be a little weird, right? But boxing, I would love if they bought up boxing and made all these guys fucking fight each other. I would love that.
That's the one thing I'd be okay with. The one thing. I don't want them to buy the rest of it. Think about it. They start poaching like the best football players or something. That's a nightmare. I would hate that.
Like, NFL is an American sport. It's not like it's going to play well anywhere.
Like when Wembanyama's next contract is to play in the Saudi league. Come on, that would be terrible.
That would be terrible.
MMA, let them buy MMA and pay those guys what they deserve.
No, boxing. But they already own part of the UFC. But boxing, make these guys fight each other.
Yeah, just get rid of all the Mickey Mouse belts and put one, install like one system. They got the money to do that, to overpower these idiotic belt systems. They're just so stupid.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.